Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you fine folks out there. While I get this straightened out here, how is everybody doing? Welcome aboard once again on the Friday evening hangout. All right, let me see what we got here.
Good morning.
Oh yeah, sounds like she's working, right? All right, so refreshing. What is happening, folks? I'm gonna put my head right into that solar panel. What's going on? Good to see everybody in there. All the usual suspects seem to be in there today. This evening, this morning, depending on where you're at. Oh, let's see, okay. Let's see. I got this monitor slightly moved away this time. I got it more tilted this way, so I'm giving it one of these. But we're going to try not to do that. Of course, these glasses, they're like reading glasses. That's pretty much what they are. Got 20/20 vision, but as far as reading, yeah, I got to do that. But so it helps to have it a little closer. But yeah, we don't have any problem. We can handle it. Let me shut that off. Don't need that. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a lot of interesting things that we can talk about this evening. That ought to be awesome. Let's see. Mimi's in there. Daniel Lee's in there. Corey's in there. Great for all. Elaine Millard. Miss Heard. Limey Watcher. Cameron. What's happening? It scrolls down. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so at the top of the link, at the top of the little comment section there. Let's see. Mars Leaks is there. What's going on, Mars Leaks? Noodles. What's happening, Noodles? Oops. Thing just jumped on me. I love it when it does that. Let's see. I don't know if I missed anybody now. I'm going to go back. Pete Ferrero's in there. What's going on, Pete? Happy holidays to you and your family as well. And everybody here, of course. Phil C's in there. Says, howdy. Folks, I didn't get the notification. Just had a hunch. This is what was about to happen. Yeah, we moved it a little bit earlier, so try to accommodate more people. So we moved it to 4 o'clock instead of 5 p.m. I figured it would probably help a few people. I know a lot of times anybody in the UK or more farther east, if you will, going around the world, you know, obviously if it's super late, then they got to jump off because either work tomorrow or it's just flat out late, right? So trying to help everybody out if I can. So some people say, well, I'd like to stay in there longer, but I can't. And I don't blame you. You know, if it's like 12 midnight, 1 o'clock, you just want to bail. I don't blame you. You know, it is what it is. I'd be like this. If it's that late, I'd be falling asleep. Like, man, that's not good. Josh D's in there. Alfie Joe Bob, what's going on? Good to see you in there. You said, thanks for the great videos. Well, I appreciate it. Wait till you guys see the next ones. I've got 4 of them now. I got 4 of them, and there's nothing we've covered yet. So, all new ones coming up. We're going to knock the crap out of these things come this week coming up. We're going to jump on those, get those out. Yeah, wait until you see these. Like I said, we haven't done, let's see. Well, we got a different planet. More moon, which is cool. In an area we haven't done before. And actually, I think there's 2 moon coming up as well. Plus another planet. And what else did we just dig up? I think we got 4, though. We have 4. So, yeah. I'm sure you guys will be looking forward to those. J. Feb, what's going on? He said, hello, Earthlings. Live long and prosper. Yes, absolutely. Live long and prosper. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Jean Ward? Good to see you in there. Let me see. Hi, Chris and all. Hi, Mimi. Limey Watcher says, good to see you in here, Limey. Dale Rogers is in the house. What's going on, Dale? Good to see you in there. Kenneth is in there. Rodolfo Cruz, what's happening? Hola from Mexico, my friend. ¿Qué pasa, amigo? Good to see you in there. Pork Garden. Man, the content Chris has been putting out last few weeks has been crazy, but very interesting. Oh, wait. Like I said, I've got 4 more coming up. Crazy stuff. Stuff you've heard about, too. But nobody's really jumped in there to really find out what's going on with it. So when you see, especially one particular one, it's great. Even I was like, what? Scratching my head about it. So, yeah, pretty interesting. Oh, Josh D said 2200 here. Thanks for the early start. Yeah, I try to get a little bit early. I know it may help you guys out a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot, but we try. Kenneth, our species has discovered a way to communicate through the dark, to transcend immense distances. No means of communication is faster or cheaper, or reaches out farther. It's called radio. Oh, yeah. Wild Mountain Bear, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Says, I'm here. Roll call. Everybody here? All right. Venus de Pablo, what's going on? You said, just found the channel. Amazing. I appreciate that. Good to have you on board. Hope you subbed. Mr. George Mayer, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris and all. I have a theory about the platforms with the ball thing on top. Could it be the emit of hologram found on the planet? Oh, okay, from the planet. I think that's what you're trying to put anyway. Sometimes mine's like that too. I'll go to type and it's like spell check goes stupid on me. Or put something I wasn't trying to put. But anyway, it's possible. I don't know though. In some ways it looks like when you see the moon live, right? It still looks like things are being covered up, like somebody's literally trying to cover it up. So is it something that was half buried naturally, meaning it's been there for so darn long that, keep in mind, the moon does have moonquakes. So is it possible over the course of time the thing dug itself under the ground, or at least half into the ground? Is that a possibility? I haven't seen any real proof of a hologram yet, but is it possible? Sure. If they were thinking maybe later on as us apes, rather, decided to, or evolved more and more, is it possible they're thinking, you know what, this is the best cover we have. Why don't we just go ahead and put like some kind of like cloak type thing, over the moon, or some kind of hologram to kind of hide what we've got here? Possibility. Now, I haven't seen any real proof to believe that, but you can't just rule it out, right? Clerks 93, yo, what's going on, Clerks? Every time I see your name, I think of Clerks the movie. Oh, that's funny. Good movies. Doug Parker, what's going on? He said, good day, Chris. Watching from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. Well, good to have you in there, man. I haven't seen the latest one, Jean. I'll have to check it out. He said, how was the sound of my last video? Anyone see it? I now have a new microphone. Elgato Wave 3. Haven't seen it. I have to give it a listen. Is it something on a boom, or is it something like what I got here, the lapel? Because I haven't seen the last one, to be truthful with you. Cameron, you said, how are you, Chris, on this Friday? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well, Cameron. Just chilling here. Had a little bite to eat about an hour ago. So hopefully that'll, get us through. Yeah, Jean Ward has been, it's funny, and don't get me wrong, I mean, Jean, you did a great job on this, but it's not the first time that UFO-looking thing has been shown. In fact, it was, there's a group that was on, on Facebook. Thomas Mikey Jensen had done it. There was a group of other people that found that a long time ago, but it's been making its rounds. In fact, you were on a couple of sites that I saw that of your video. So congrats on that. That's awesome. So I think, and I don't really care who's put it out, to be truthful. It's like when I tell people, if they want to take some of my work and put it on their channel, as long as they give me full credit for it, and of course they want to pass it on, as long as the truth gets out, that's what really matters, right? And you did a great job on that video anyway, so that's cool. And I have seen them that people were talking about. It was on Twitter, and it had made its round, so that's cool. What's going on there, Ufology Shorts? Good to see you in there. Oh, the polite scumbag. What's going on? 2017. 2017? Lapis, what's happening? You said greetings. What's going on? Good to see you in there. The polite scumbag said, I still remember this CERN did an April Fool's prank saying ancient particle accelerators were found on Mars and were stargates to Earth via the Great Pyramids. Funny thing is, it may not be an actual joke. Mimi, you said, Chris, after seeing all these structures, everything seems to be possible. Yeah, it seems it's getting that way, right? It's like almost everything or every body in our solar system has been touched at some point, like something's been on it at some point in time, Here's the thing I was thinking about too, because believe it or not, Mercury is not the hottest planet. Venus is actually hotter than Mercury, and it's being the second planet, it's actually hotter than Mercury because it's got a runaway greenhouse, right? So, but what about this though? Remember I was telling you folks that back in, it was like 65 million years ago, there was a scientist, she said 65 million years ago, like when the dinosaurs are supposedly walking around, that our solar system was in a different part of the galaxy. What if, and this is a what if Earth was the closest planet to our star or our sun, and that there was no planets in between Earth and the sun? What if somehow we were in another part of the universe and one of these rogue planets just happened to come in, and of course it got sucked in and became, or started an orbit around our star? And that maybe Mercury was not a molten ball now. It was something much more than that. Maybe it was an actual planet. Of course, it's pure speculation, but do we truly know? Now, I appreciate science and everything about it, and as of right now, the science behind it says these planets have been around our sun for millions upon millions of years, right? But do we really know their origins? How do we know? As of right now, the best, logical explanation is, of course, if our solar system formed the sun, and then of course it formed, the planets and whatever else, and now they're orbiting our star, and that's the way we've always been taught. What if it's not? What if it's different? Maybe one of them, like I said, was just coming into our solar system. Somehow the sun caught it. How do we know? It could be any one of these planets could have been like that. How do we know? And of course, that's just questioning it. Max K, what's going on? Good to see you there. Hi, Chris. Hi, Hangout. Rise of the TR3B. You seen it? Can't buy it till 24th. No, I haven't seen it yet. That sucks. It's not available until the 24th. Well, make a nice Christmas gift, right? If you get it. If you'd see it. Let me see. Dennis Williamson says, big fat bong rips. Cheers from Oregon, on the edge of the Emerald Triangle. What's going on, Dennis? Good to see you in there. Okay, that's what Sammy put on there. Okay. Lapis, you said our sun circulates a central star cluster. It got caught in. See, that's what I know. I thought about that. I'm saying, you know, because somebody had questioned that, and you know, every now and then you'll get somebody saying, well, it's extremely hot on Mercury, and I said, well, no, not entirely. There is actually ice at the poles, and I'm not 100% sure, but and I think it's like 88 days, I think, because they call it, I forget what they call it, the Greeks called it, but 88 days to go a full, you know, orbit around the sun. Now, if you do have something like a Goldilocks zone, because of course you got the cold area at the poles, and of course really, really hot, and of course it gets really cold. Of course it gets hotter, then it gets colder, you know, during the day and night. You know, again, you could probably still live there if you wanted to. You know, and even then, some people say, well, you know, I think there was one comment saying, and I don't think nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're just trying to express how they feel and their opinion, rather. So they were saying, well, there's no way a structure could survive on that, on Mercury. I said, well, you're thinking in human terms. How do we know that other beings didn't have the technology to build something to withstand that heat? Of course, it wouldn't make any sense to be above ground. It'd make more sense to be below ground, right? But how do we know? Maybe to them it's not even a big deal. And if it's on the other side of Mercury, because I'm trying to remember if it actually rotates, I think it's like our moon. It's like almost like a tidal lock type thing. I'm not sure if there's that particular planet. Anybody know that off the top of your heads? But if it is like a tidal lock around the sun, then they could literally be on the other side of Mercury and live there indefinitely. Of course, it'd be extremely cold all the time, unless they just happen to be like extremely hot here and extremely cold here, and again in a Goldilocks zone. Very good possibility, right? I don't know. Oliver Klein, what's going on? He says, hello all. Mr. Kyle Harvey, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Ricardo Petrozzi's in there. That's totally my topic Chris is talking about. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, it's like you just got to stop and think of all angles. Now, we're far from astrophysicists, but it's just sometimes common sense, too. I mean, you know, is it possible? We're asking the question. We don't know, but we're asking the question. Because there's so many things. I mean, you know, millions upon millions of years ago, is it possible, like some of these planets didn't even exist in our solar system. And then, you know, some of these became one of our planets in our solar system. I don't know. Sky Blue, what's happening? Yep. He said Mercury 1 year, 88 days. Well, yeah, yeah. Poles have ice. Yep. So it's, like I said, I mean, we don't even know if some of these planets were even with all the other planets back millions of years ago. We don't have a clue. Like I said, they could have came to be and, you know, might have come right into our solar system and got locked into the orbit around our sun, and that was it. You know? Equalizer, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is on form, fit, and healthy. Well, we try to, right? What is this? Mars League says Mercury is our closest planet on average. Doug Parker said 58 and a quarter days to turn on its axis. Yeah. So think about it. I mean, you know, now I don't know if that's Earth time, but if it's going by Earth time, kind of like Mars, it has sols, but it's different than our days. But when you think about that, you say, okay, 58 days, okay, that's close to 2 months here. All right. So, I mean, you could do a lot in 2 months, and then 2 months off, 2 months on, you know, so on and so forth. So we don't even know. You know, some of those shapes on there, some people say, well, I didn't see anything. I'm going, wow. Because I've seen a ton. There was a ton in that northern part of the hemisphere on Mercury, and there was hardly anything, although there was some, but there was hardly anything at the bottom, or at least in the equatorial region and south, right? I didn't see a whole lot. As soon as you get to the northern hemisphere, forget about it. There's just stuff everywhere. Shapes that do not resemble any crater, and there's too many of them close together to begin with, meaning, so you get like a square, circle, and another square, and everything else. It's not just a crater. It's not, you know, just crater hit. So, let me see here. Gotta love these apps. Let's turn our temperature down, shall we? Let me just drop it down to 70 degrees. Technology is a beautiful thing. Get rid of that. All right. Mr. Kyle Harvey, thank you for your support as always. Always a supporter of the channel. You guys are awesome. Much love to you guys. Hey Chris, your theory on size was expressed in an old movie, Batteries Not Included. Just watch it. Yeah, it's a good show, isn't it? I think it came out in the 80s. Really good show. I like the way remember the way they would recharge it, just like stick a little tong like in the electric socket, and just charge themselves up. Those are pretty cool. You see them flying around. They're about this big. Some of them real tiny. Especially that one that was like the black sheep involved. Remember that little one? That was funny. Rock Hits, what's going on? You said hi, Chris, and everyone. What is happening? Let's see. I don't know why one of your messages were retracted, Jean Ward. That's weird. Elaine, I said, I'm listening. I'm eating spag, boiled cheese, 5 spice, and dried grape. Man, you can be talking about food already? Jeez. I had like a half a sandwich. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. I can survive until then. Again, Kyle, thank you very much for your support, brother. Appreciate you. IR Film, you said, good afternoon here. Anyway, LOL. Hello, Chris. How are you doing, bud? You're looking and sounding a bit better now? Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot better. It's fun getting back into the swing of things, too, because it's like, you know, I don't know how many times I heard people, you know, from this COVID thing that were, they said people that used to jog, I can't jog anymore. They can't do this. And it still has this weird feeling about yourself when, at least for me, you know, as far as like, you know, just normal breathing and stuff like that, it still has like this lasting kind of effect to it. But yeah, I'm back in there. Like I said, if the weather's bad, I jump on a treadmill, jump on there, do 15, 20 minutes real quick on the treadmill, jogging on there, and then hit the exercise bike, stepper, and all this other stuff. And getting back into the rhythm, man. It's, you know, it's tough. People think it's easy, but it's really not. But, you know, you get around it, do your thing. That's all you can do, right? Ufology Short, you said, I once read the story of Peruvian contactee who had encountered beings from Mercury in the 1980s. They told him that they live mostly in the planet's poles. If that's true, of course it's a big if that's true, then there you go. You see where all those structures were, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Miss here, you said, who is backlashing? Backlashing? I don't know. Maxine W., what's going on? Good to see you in there. We'll just call you Maxine instead of saying Maxine W. Maxine W. Sounds a little weird, doesn't it? MG Toe, what's happening? Good to see you in there, man. Yeah, this thing did jump on me, didn't it? George Mary said, yes, Chris, the images were amazing structures everywhere, and it means there is life everywhere in the universe. I mean, even if there was just, let's say we just found something just on our moon. And, of course, there's no way to know how old the stuff would be, right? But if it's something that when you see it, you say, okay, clearly that's not us, or it's not ours, then clearly, right there, it says just life other places. If we didn't put it there, then who did? So then you take one step further and you say, okay, you look at Mars and you go, okay, we're seeing things in these photos, and based on what we're seeing in these photos, there was life in a civilization on Mars at one time. There you go. And if it's in our own solar system, you know it's everywhere. I mean, it doesn't have to be on every planet and every, you know, body in the universe, but the point is, it's like if it's just in our solar system alone, then there's a lot more life out there. A lot more. Oh, Mr. Sean Wood, he said, you're just talking to Miss here, saying you got insulting comments. I had to ban several people from my channel. Yeah, I mean, it's sad that it's like that, but like I said, I was warned about that years ago. They said once your channel blows up, starts getting bigger, they all come out of the woodwork. So as long as you're aware of that and you know that's going to happen, I mean, you can see like silly ones like way back in the day when I said, oh, kill yourself and all this. It's like, sadly, I use that terminology a lot. So it didn't faze me. But in some ways, it kind of does. But once you get, as you go more and more, you get just a tougher skin. You just kind of laugh at them now. It's kind of funny. Hey, Lusta, what's going on? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hello, good night. While Mountain Bear says there's evidence of a very large impact on Mars. Artificial residual radiation present. Anyone else hear of that theory? Well, I mean, if you're talking about the explosions, there was 2 nuclear explosions on Mars that they have found, and there's evidence of that, the radiation and stuff like that. And I believe it was Maven, the spacecraft orbiter, that went into the lower atmosphere, quote unquote, and then could sniff that out, could actually tell. And it was, funny enough, it's right next to, there's one that's called the Chaos region. It's east of the face of Cydonia in the Cydonia region, where the Cydonia region was hit with a much larger explosion, and off to the east and slightly south was the something Chaos region, where it had the smaller explosion. So yeah, there was 2 of those. And like I said before, it's ironic because, or just to me it's just funny, is that all of the landers, like this is the face of Cydonia, and of course this other region, all these landers and crafts and rovers are all over around it. They're all south of it and around it. I went, gee, what a coincidence. Crazy, right? Adventure in Life, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you, man. He said, do you think our world governments, let me stop this so it doesn't scroll up on me here, would ever let any ancient history and technologies be definitively proven when it would be likely disrupt the status quo of who has power and flow of money? Probably not. Now, I've stated this before that it's going to be a slow drip kind of disclosure. And I think this UFO, what everything's going on with the UFOs is part of it. Because if you really think about it, it's like, ooh, where do these spacecraft come from? Think about it. You know, is it ours? Is it from out there? So it started there. And now they're saying they found even more water on Mars, which I claimed that a long time ago before they even said it the first time. And in fact, it's right in the Valles Marineris, which is that giant, like it would be our, drawing a blank. I hate when that happens. Don't you hate when that happens? But the Valles Marineris, which is that giant, you know, area where it looks like it's been scraped out kind of thing, they find that there's water in that area as well. And it's just below, I think it's like a foot. I think they said it was like a foot below the surface. But anyway, I don't think that they're actually going to just come out and say, oh, by the way, you know, we just found this on Mars or the moon. They're not going to do it. It's like they're letting people like me and a lot of other people who are finding these inconsistencies in these photos to bring it out. This way, hey, we didn't know that. They can play off. How did you guys manage to see that in the photo? We didn't see it, kind of thing, right? So they can't be responsible for the lies, which is kind of lame because they're the ones putting the pictures out, right? And you know as well as I do, they know what's going on. Yeah, so, you know, again, like I said, I think it's just going to be, you know, just slow drip disclosure. That's what it comes down to. And like I said, when you guys see the next 4 videos that coming out, you're going to go, oh my God, even more proof. What is going on here? Especially with the moon. I love the way they do these moon photos, and especially if you see these, I don't know if it was made by NASA, but it's like a giant like pan type thing, giant photo of an area. And every time you look at it, because it is in color, when you look at it, you get close down to the ground, you can see like these black areas, like You go, what is that? Well, that's to cover up a lot of surface areas, whether it be what looks like landscaping, like cut out perfectly, or structures, or any of that sort. Yeah, and it's right there for you to see it. Funny as heck. So that's just one of them that's coming out. And then, like I said, I've got 3 others. I don't want to tell you about the other ones. It'll spoil it. But you guys will love them. But again, Adventure in Life, appreciate your support, man. That is awesome. Richard Bunt, what's going on? There was a quake, wars on Mars, a force not to be reckoned with. Well, between that and whatever else was going on, and we don't know what happened prior to or after these explosions too, right? So they said there was floods. They know there's proof of that. Like they believe that a lot of like water washed over because there's no tectonic plates, so there's really no islands, right? At least that's what they claim. So there was basically these giant lakes, and not separation of land where you have ocean. At least according to them, they claim that there was no tectonic plates, so it would have to be just large lakes, right? So I find that pretty interesting. But they say it washed over any land, and there's proof of that. So pretty cool. Well, not if you were living there, it's not cool, but yeah, you get the idea. They just jumped on me again here. Hold on. Matt, you said Elon Musk just revealed, nobody can explain this, prepare yourself. Title of a clip on YouTube. Huh. I'll have to check that out. I wonder if we can actually find that. Why don't we try? Okay. Yeah, it is on there. Let me see here. I'll do this. I'm not sure. I haven't seen this, so I couldn't say whether it's new news, old news, whatever it may be. But we're going to drop that if anybody's interested in checking it out. It's like 8 minutes long, I think. Yeah, exactly. It's 8 minutes and 1 second. So here's the link here, in case anybody wants to throw that in a bookmark or something. Or just put it in a tab and leave it there, right there. Steve Gardner said Mercury had its outer crust blown off, just the core remains. No, they actually say that it still has its own, it still has its crust, if you will, like kind of like Earth, but it has a very large iron core. So there is still a core and there's still a crust on it. So, but the core is very big, so it's pretty close, right? John Shop, Chris, aliens wear underpants. That's a good question. We'll never know because usually when they abduct you, the other one is probing, right? So, not good. I don't know. It's a great question. Not sure what that is. DLYALL, something all 26. You said years ago an image of Mars from Neville Thompson, I think, but I had adjusted the settings that... not on water, but what looked like water pouring into the lake from a large pipe. Oh, I remember seeing that. That was a satellite view. That was a satellite view, and you can see it literally coming out and doing this, like just coming right out. I seen that too. That's an oldie, but a goodie. That was actually pretty good. There was other really weird anomalies in that too. Man, he said his name is Alien Mask. Or Alien Musk, yeah, either way. Mimi, you said I think you said you heard he was facing bankruptcy. You're talking about Elon? Yeah. He'll always have people support him, even if he went to the point where he's like almost ran out of cash. I mean, all he's got to do is just stop spending, and it'll all just come back in. He'll never drop off. He's got so much momentum now. Kevin T said, metal at the core, my kind of place. Yeah, would that be heavy metal, different metals? I mean, either way, I guess it's good, right? Let me see. Josh D says, now about 50 of you need to hit the frickin' like button. Really? Yeah, you're right. You got like 117, some roughly watching, and 75 thumbs up. Go ahead and slam it, guys. Hit that bad whamma jamma. Let's see. Use a bad mother. Watch your mouth. Remember that old song? John Sharp, he said, Chris, the latest, your latest moon stuff is mad. Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy things on these planets and moons, man. It's absolutely nuts. And like I said, I just looked at another planet and just going, what is going on here? You can't help but to look at this and question it, even if you can't make it out, right? You say, okay, I know what a crater looks like, common sense. I mean, they can be all sorts of shapes and sizes and relatively variable depths, but nothing with like straight sides, like, angles like that, different shapes. And people go, oh, you don't understand how craters are made. Really? Okay. All I know is a foreign body, yeah, I'm almost start speaking different language now. No, it's one thing to have like a foreign body come in, like a ball. Let's call it just a ball, and it comes in. It's bound to either have an elongated crater, and of course you got the ejector and everything else. We know that. But to have sides with angles and 90-degree angles, come on. Part of that has got to be, it's got to be intelligently made. There's just no way around it. Mother Nature's is not gonna make a perfect edges on craters. Not when you consider something's coming from outer space into either the moon, a planet, or whatever. It's just not going to do that. It's not going to put straight edges on it. Lucky Mo, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, I suspect there are nuggets of truth in Stargate and probably Contact too. I mean, they say if anything can be dreamt up, the chances are it's pretty much true. No, it doesn't have to be 100%, right? But I believe strongly, yeah. There could be something very similar to that, or its own version of it, right? I don't know. And if it doesn't exist, we're working towards it, one way or the other. Erica Seega, you said, is there any chance by conspiracy that past was wrong understood and that we are next generation of aliens called Anunnaki? After big cataclysmic war civilization got forgotten its own past, if I count ruins. Yeah, I mean, well, that's what they claim, right? The Anunnaki was supposedly had come to Earth, and this is like 36,000 years ago, maybe even longer, depending on what you read. Is that it was written that they came here, they modified our DNA, they needed, workers to mine gold for their atmosphere, and their planet Nibiru runs on a 3,600 year elliptical around our sun. So I don't know if it helps keep in the warmer air when they're not near the sun, and it kind of blocks it out when they're near the sun, right? And of course, gold is universal. It can be used for a lot of things. We use it in electronics. We use it in everything. Very well, good conductor. Is it possible they use that? It's outside their planet, and it converts it into electricity. I don't know. Kind of like our solar panels do, right? But yeah, I mean, let me see. When you think about like the Sumerians, when they wrote about the Anunnaki and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I just find it hard to believe because some people will say, oh, I don't believe that for a moment. Okay, but were there really, and I always say this, were there really sci-fi writers back thousands of years ago? Who knows? I guess it's a possibility. They sat around just looking at the stars going, oh, maybe that's, maybe, like our gods came from the heavens, which I believe that is true. It's not one God, our gods. Again, every Bible or every religious book, claims that their gods came down from the heavens down to earth and taught them agriculture, language, mathematics, so on and so forth. So, so yeah, absolutely. I do believe there's some truth to that, to be honest with you. Ricardo, you said Stargate is brilliant from the perspective that we can, can be claimed to be just a great soap opera series wrapped in sci-fi, but also a well-disguised form of disclosure. So good you can't say for sure. Well, that's true. I actually loved that show, man, especially when they first came out. Remember, it was the movie that came out, and then, of course, it became a series. Really, really good. Stargate Atlantis, that was cool. I like when they first started that show, the pilot and everything else, and how they went into that. That was pretty sweet. What's going on there, War Crime? Good to see you in there. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be like Canadian and unawoke. James Gilliland, I guess it's called, has great videos about our true human history. Not familiar with him. Check them out. Oops. Ufology short to say, I noticed that the architecture, on each planet and moon is different and unique, suggesting we're dealing with multiple alien civilizations. Or, it could be adapted to, maybe the building's adapting to, they're adapting their building skills to each planet and gravity and everything else, right? Me personally, I don't care if a planet has no gravity. It can still be dug into the ground, or at least partially, so it holds it onto the surface, right? So there doesn't have to be gravity to hold it there. But just maybe atmosphere or no atmosphere. Very hot near the sun, maybe further away. But I do agree with you as well, as it could very well be different aliens. Like I said, I believe we live in an ancient civilization where, or I should say, I want to say more like neighborhood. And we're just starting to see this ourselves. Of course, they've probably seen this back in the 40s, and we're just learning more and more and more about it as far as the public, that, we are basically in like this ancient neighborhood, and we go out there, we're seeing all these weird things. Now, whether there's still beings on the moon or other planets remains to be seen. Could very well be, because there is, proof where there's lights in these craters on the moon. There's different things, activity going on the moon, so it's a very good possibility. And then we see these other structures. Are they abandoned, or do they actually still have life in there on the planet or other moons? I don't know. But really interesting. And it could very well be a lot more, civilizations that were in our solar system at one point in time, right? Mimi Reaction said, did anyone, except for Noah, survive the big flood? Well, they said the animals and, of course, his family. Now, I'm sure there was other people, supposedly. Stephen Porter said, Chris, do you think Planet 9 could orbit in a north-south position instead of the way each planet orbits? That's why we can't see it. Truthfully, I don't know. I've never heard any other planet doing that. Like you said, instead of going around this way, it's actually going this way, right? I don't think there is, but according to they do believe there's actually, well, at one time it was a 10th planet. It's kind of like the Sumerians claimed, but they say that they're the 7th planet in, because they're counting from outside in, as opposed to what we do, right? So if you're the 10th planet, you go 7th in, then they're talking about the Earth. So it's kind of weird how they did that, because I think they even count the moon too, the way they did that. I forget exactly how. It's been a long time since I've read up on that. But, it's still supposed to be a 3,600 elliptical orbit. That's quite a bit. So now if it does come in and go back out and stuff like that, into our solar system around the sun, that'd be interesting to see that. If it came back around, that would be kind of freaky too. But they have claimed that they've seen a larger planet just on the outskirts of our other planets, and of course Pluto, which it's not ranked as a planet anymore. Yeah. Man, I made a song called Anunnaki at the Orbis at SoundCloud, and they offered me a contract. There you go, man. If that works. Mimi, you said some of the Nephilim must have survived. Yeah, I know what they wrote about the Nephilim being that they were giants and all this other stuff. I don't know. That's weird, man. Let's suppose for a moment if there was giants. We have people that were on our planet that were giants at one point too, right? So because we had much more oxygen, much more organics on the planet. From what I understand, it was like a tropical planet. So is it possible that humans were just a lot bigger back then too? And then when you see some of these structures like on the moon or these other planets or whatever, they seem smaller. It's almost like, so are we the larger beings in the solar system if they were still here? I don't know. Sometimes we see things on Mars that look like they're miniaturized and don't look like they're very big. Are they just boxes and stuff laying on the ground, or is it structures? Which reminds me, I do have another Mars one coming up, which has some freaky crap up on that ridge. In fact, a video I had just done. And funny how these photos from photo to photo, if it's a lot further away from the rover, you can actually make out more details that they didn't take out but they took out in the other photos, which is really weird. But you'll see what I'm talking about coming up too. Like I said, I got 4 videos coming up. You guys are going to be like, wow, this is awesome. So we're going to be rocking those out come beginning of the week. We will be rocking them. Jean Ward, you said it looks like they were on Mars too. Same type of ruins on Earth and Mars. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, right? That's why I said maybe at one point, and of course it was pure speculation, that both planets were alive at one point, and this goes back thousands of years ago. Maybe human beings they weren't like these cavemen like we believe we were at one time. And maybe there's a lower subhuman at one time, and that's what we're seeing. But as far as like technologically advanced, I believe we may have. And maybe Mars and Earth thousands of years ago was actually both existing. And then they decided, well, this is not good. They're going to get hit by it, or they did get hit and unaware of it. Or they knew it was coming and just abandoned Mars and just came here. And we still had a civilization here. And of course, we've had cataclysmic events here. I think we're in the 5th cycle. So anywhere from fire to flood to this, to that, and the other. Yeah. And speaking of the Sumerians, where I think it's the Bible has what? I think it's, I'm trying to remember how they worded it. It's like they had, when they talk about the flood in the Bible, well, the Sumerians talk about it in much greater detail. I think there's like 7 tablets of that where there's like I think it's like 7 sentences or 7, I forget how they put it in the Bible itself. So that it goes into much more detail in the Sumerian tablets than it does in the Bible, which is crazy, right? But pre-written before the Bible. Wild Mountain Bear, he said the Anunnaki, there was a movie that hinted at them, Prometheus. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes along them lines, right? Been modified, made it almost in their image and so on and so forth. Of course, from the size of them and stuff like that, they were much more superior. They could have been the Nephilim, right? So, I mean, yeah, you could take a lot of that movie, depending on how you look at the past and what's been found in ancient civilizations and stuff like that, their writings and stuff, right? So, that's pretty interesting. Could very well be. Ricardo said flat craters may be caused by air burst of planetary impact into atmosphere, a Tunguska event. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they claim like a lot of the larger craters on the moon, it could have been like lava bubbles coming up where it comes up, boom, and then it settles back down. And of course, you get another one smaller one. That's why you get like a crater in a crater. That's feasible. Makes sense. But like I said, the only thing I always had a problem with is that when you see like square structures or something like rectangular, then it has like straight edges along the crater walls. I'm going, somehow I don't think a crater is going to, a natural phenomenon is going to do that. I just don't believe that. Lava, it's not going to go straight edges. It's not going to do that. But you're right what you're saying, Ricardo. Yeah, Pete, you're right too. You said the Anunnaki theories, they use Mars for mining. And of course they could have lived there too, right? Can you imagine if all of this was true? Envision people on Mars mining, the moon maybe they're mining, they're living here on Earth, they're living here on Mars, and they're just traveling, from the moon to Earth, back and forth, and throughout the solar system, maybe thousands upon thousands of years ago. Can you imagine what that was like, our solar system? That must have been crazy. And then, of course, a war broke out. Who knows? It was maybe for resources like we do here on Earth. We don't know. Pure speculation. I'm sure there's an answer somewhere that's written down. And of course, nobody's going to tell you anything. But, yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? Wars out in space, stuff like that. That's why you see stuff that looks like it's wrecked. Some stuff isn't on the moon. And same thing with Mars. I don't know. It would account for the 2 massive explosions on Mars. War Crime, yeah, you're right about that. That's a good movie. Jupiter Ascending has a lot of info. They play off as sci-fi. That's true. I remember when that first came out, everybody was talking about it and was thinking the very same thing. Gunna, he said, if we're in the 5th cycle, the end is near. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like that that moon movie that's coming out. I showed you guys, Moon something or other. Maybe you guys can remember what it was. If we survive the other 5, or this 5th one, if we survive, I don't think we'll have an issue. I think at some point, kind of like Elon Musk says, he says, well, it's better to have people on other planets too, in case you do have this kind of life-ending event on this planet. Well, the human species will still live on. Now, if it's like a cluster of comets coming into the solar system and wipes out both planets, good knowing y'all. It's as simple as that. But I think it's interesting, and it's kind of common sense anyway. If you want to strive as a species, you might want to jump to another planet, moon, or whatever, as long as you can survive on it, to do that. And it makes sense to me. I think, I don't know. What do you guys think? Wouldn't you do the same if you could? I don't see why not. Of course, you had people arguing, they should be concentrating on Earth. And I totally get it, and I agree. But they're looking at it as like it's a lot larger than just homeless. It's a lot larger than, people, poor people and stuff like that. And people, these third world countries and these very poor countries. It's much bigger than that. You're talking about the whole planet could be literally wiped out, let alone just, people and so on and so forth. But I believe it's a huge problem. And I think we should actually spend some of that money here on these, the homeless and our vets and so on and so forth. I think they should start right here if they're going to do anything. You want to make the Earth a better place? That's where you start. But I also agree with having something on exoplanet, having something on another planet. Timekeepers Media, what's going on? He said a flood overworld is now proved by a water pulse, 1-B from the ice cap cores. That's the driest period, 11,000 years ago. All that remains are megalithic polygon rocks. Yeah, I thought it was closer to 16,000. But I know there was another event too around 11,000 as well. So, but either way, there was some cataclysmic event, right? So, and it's hard to tell whether, what we were prior to that, or going back when they registered the first cataclysm kind of thing, right? Was it something where we technologically advanced thousands of years ago, and that somehow it's been erased from our memory? Or they refuse to talk about it. Like, in other words, they found maybe, who knows, let's say like structures underground. You know, they're claiming Antarctica, there's structures there and everything else, which we've seen what looks like that's a very good possibility. There's structures all over that area, McMurdo Bay and all of these places, right? So if that's true, and it was ours, then we were more technologically advanced than what we realized. Because, like I said, when they had done tests and in the sand and stuff, they found metals, and it indicated that there was a very it was like basically factories and stuff like that, and all kinds of crazy stuff like you know, and I think it went back to like 196,000 years ago, or 96,000 years ago, I believe it was. But either way, I mean, you go 96,000, what? We were supposed to be like picking up rocks and, you know, and a bunch of cavemen back then. But yet now they're saying, you know, like I said, human beings were around for like, first it was, like I said, very low. It was like 10,000 years ago. Now then it was 30, 60,000. Now it's 250,000. Now it's 500,000. I don't think we really know. Because every time we set a date, we get pushed back more from more scientific finds or geological finds or whatever it may be. We're going further and further backwards. You know? Oliver Klein said Tiamat was destroyed and their moon hit Earth, so it's told, which ended the total destruction. Which ended, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think if you can actually have a time machine and go back, right, that would be pretty interesting to actually go back in time and see these things, actually these events happen. Like go back at like 1,000,000 years ago and see what it was like. And if you can see, like, was there people? Was there anybody at all? Was it just creatures creeping around on the ground? I don't know. That would be cool. Can you imagine? I'm sure somebody's actually done this already. They've tried and tried and tried to get that to happen. Mars Leaky said, most findings on Mars resembles Mesoamerica culture. Yeah. And it's even then, there's a lot of technological stuff there too. Like you can see like technology laying on the ground. So it's like some people say, well, why does it seem like they're like ancient stuff, right? But for some weird reason, people automatically make the assumption if you find another civilization on the planet, it should be more technologically advanced. Why? Makes no sense. Why? We don't know if they were where we are today thousands of years ago. So they would have been more advanced had they survived. Now, you know, and I said that in my comment, back to this person, I said, keep in mind, we've used brick since the dawn of time. Well, clay, brick, and all this other stuff. And then, of course, we're using reinforced, you know, concrete. We're using, you know, all different kinds of steels, but a lot of brick and concrete still. And look how far we've come as far as technology, or I was going to say technologically advanced. But look where we are today. We're still using brick, mortar, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, just because you might see what looks like a brick building on Mars doesn't mean they weren't, you know, advanced, but it doesn't mean that they were super advanced compared to what we are now. I don't know. It seems like you see both. That's the way I see it. Kind of like we do here. We can go to Egypt and see ancient structures. We can go to Dubai and there's like futuristic structures there. And so look at the contrast. Oh, this thing just jumped on me here. I'm trying to go back here. Hold on. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Adriel, long time no chat. Also known as Tim Walker. What's going on, Tim? Healer. Elmer Bay. What's going on? He said, good afternoon from Miracle Beach, Canada. That's awesome. Good to have you in there. I believe that's British Columbia. Erica Seeger, you said another speculation I heard on official TV program. We're in the middle of night. They say sun is older than they say. Oh, maybe 7 billion years or old star. Oh, okay, dying one. Because of this, we had all events. Oh, okay. So, from what they're saying, and I've read this, where the sun was actually cooler millions of years ago. Okay? So this was my other argument. When people say, well, it's too hot on Mercury to have anything on there. I don't know. If it was cooler back then, there's both sides to that. Some people say it was hotter, some people say it was cooler. If it was cooler, then, and it was probably smaller, because they say it's supposed to be expanding, I believe, and it'll pretty much swallow every planet in the solar system at some point in time. But if it was cooler back then, it could be the same size as it is now. I could care less. But if it was cooler, and it burned cooler, then Mercury probably wasn't the way it is today. Kyle Harvey said Elysium is a very good movie also. Yes, it is. That's a very good movie. Great for all. What's going on? Now we can spread COVID to other planets. Yeah, why not? Just share. We like to share, right? Yikes. Well, at least give them the Omicron. At least it's not as deadly. We don't want to just kill them all off. Unless we already have. Scientific search for extraterrestrials. You said, hi, what's going on? Good to see you in there. What is this one here? Erica, you said it can be possible older sun, but it need too much light around. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are a lot older than we are. In other words, than we know. Like I said, we didn't realize how old man was until we keep going back in time. When you find these ancient civilizations, and you go back, to Lake Tepe, the Sumerian areas, you go back to there. Just crazy, right? They claim like the Sphinx in Egypt is actually older than the pyramids. And, of course, they date the pyramids at a certain time, and of course that's not accurate as well. Some people claim the pyramids are a lot older. So unless it's defined and they get a really good defined number, then you go, oh, okay. But still, look at the craftsmanship. And it's been around for how long? Good God. Phil C., thank you very much, man. I do appreciate you. That's awesome. I do appreciate that, brother. Thank you again. Awesome. You guys are awesome, man. That's cool. And a Merry Christmas to you and your family. IR Film, he said, Chris, they taught us the so-called Big Bang 13.8 billion years in the past, and now with a new telescope they're looking 21 billion years. So when we make new telescope histories change. Well, yeah, because science is always changing and evolving, right? So like I said, this is the best model we have right now for our planets and our sun, or our star. This is the best model we have and how everything came about. Okay, cool. That's why I said, is it possible, though, long before what we believe is our history, is it possible that some of these planets weren't even in our solar system, and somehow they were coming into the solar system, got dragged into an orbit, and they stayed there? No, I don't know. Which, incidentally, I'm glad you guys brought that up, because when you look at, hey, the Webb telescope finally they're going to be launched. I think it's on the 24th, the day before Christmas. Redondo Beach-based Northrop Grumman Webb Masters prepare for telescope launch. And of course, they are talking about the 24th of this month, which is just cool. So yeah. Northrop Grumman workers gather in the hangar-size clean room with the Webb telescope honeycomb mirror, reflecting the NASA logo, in year 14 of 19-year project. Yeah, it was like 20 years, man. I think they started, what did it say? It was 2001, I think it was, they started off. It launches into space December 24th from French Guiana, taking a month to fly to its destination a million miles from Earth. If something goes wrong, like the last time, it would be unreachable. The $10 billion project is the James Webb Telescope, the successor to the Hubble telescope, for which a microscopically too flat mirror blurred its images until a space shuttle crew went up and corrected it. The Webb will include no such opportunity for repair. Pointed more than 10,000 times farther out, named after the director of NASA in the time of President Kennedy, the Webb is 7 times larger than Hubble, 100 times more powerful, and that much more fragile. While its predecessor was small enough to launch essentially fully formed, this has to unfold in flight. So basically they're saying it's going to, I think it's like the 1 million miles it's going to be out from Earth. It's literally going to start unfolding itself like a transformer kind of thing, right? So it says, as the vehicle thrusts past the moon next week, the most complex deployment ever attempted in one mission begins. With more than 300 single-point failure items, 50 major deployments, all needed to unveil the telescope-like origami in reverse, including 5 layers of thin, tennis court-sized sun shield. So, I mean, that's going to be something, man. That's going to be wild. So the 24th, it is legit. Now, as long as it doesn't have some kind of accident, doesn't fall off a flatbed or some goofy crap, we'll actually see it launch, yes. Let me see here. Again, Phil C., thank you. I appreciate you. Let me see. Scientific Search for Extraterrestrials says, yeah, Mars is too cold, and I think that there were some creatures on Mars, even if it's super cold. Well, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about way back when, but now, I mean, it can get as warm. You and I could walk on Mars, the surface. It may be a little bit of thinner air, so you might need a breathing apparatus, but if that's the case, and you can be protected from the radiation, because there is a magnetic field. It's very... It's like just like areas of it on Mars, as opposed to Earth, where it's all over Earth. It has a magnetic field to protect you from solar radiation. Whereas on Mars, it's like spotted. It's not all over it. So if you could to land in that area where you'd be protected that way, and you're down near the equatorial region, where it would be the warmest, then in the summertime you could walk around there. They said it can get up to like 104 degrees, I've heard, and that's in the shade. Keep in mind, it's kind of like the moon. There is no atmosphere to stop, the solar radiation, nothing to, filter out some of the heat, none of that. So if they claim it's very thin, which I don't think that is, but if it is, that kind of makes sense. Sun can come in and heat up very quickly, and of course it can cool down because there's no cloud cover, at least not like we have here on Earth, to literally, hold in the heat. So there's nothing to do that. It just immediately gets cold. So that's a very good possibility. I, on the other hand, believe that the Mars atmosphere is thicker than what they claim, and I think it's more of a blue sky, and I think there's things flying around as well as walking around. And when we see that last video, where it looked like something's like basically circling, the helicopter, Ingenuity. So, people say, it's dust. Listen, dust will fly up from the props. I get that, and then it'll just kind of like go. It's not going to sit there and just keep going around it and flying around, get into the frame and go out of frame. And when I say in and out of frame, I don't mean like right next to it, but it could be way above the actual, in the helicopter itself. So, I don't know. Clerks93 said, you think everything was placed? Like the position of the moon and stuff? Well, they claim that, like I said, ancient civilizations claimed that there was a time without the moon. Now, they said it was brought in by someone, or somehow is like like some people even speculate that maybe it was the Noah's Ark kind of thing, where it was brought from another solar system, whatever. It had its own people, and that's who we are today. It was brought here, and we were, brought here to Earth. It seems all sci-fi to me, and I'm not sure I even believe any of that. However, you don't want to go overboard with believing such things, but you don't want to like completely close it out either, because from what we learned, at least what I've learned in my life, is that nothing I've been taught in school as far as scientific and, history is even remotely close. Now, I'm not saying there's not still stuff that's legitimately, legitimate today as far as science and everything else, because I love science, but things have changed a lot. And even back then, just normal science has changed, right? So, science has to roll with the punches. They have to roll because there's new information. new details. So now what was before is no longer that. It's something different. So science rolls on, man. It changes. It goes, you got to go with the changes. So what is today they're claiming may be totally different, 50 years from now. Be like, oh, well, we thought that was it, and that's not true. Cameron, you're taking off. You said have a good stream, Chris. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you don't do a stream next Friday, Chris, have a good weekend. I will. Cameron, same to you. Have a good Christmas, you and yours, and be safe there, right? Yeah. I'll probably pop in and just maybe drop a message to you guys. I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on. But, and of course, it all depends on you guys, too, if you still want to have one then, being it's so close to, obviously, I believe it's Christmas Eve, so that's totally up to you guys. But chances are I'll be chilling, but, I'll drop you guys a little message there for, Christmas time and everything. Lindberger, my dad has asteroids. Man, is that more painful than the hemorrhoids? Damn, that's not good. Preparation M for Mars? That's bad. Oh yeah, Ms. Heard, you said that technically our moon is a satellite. Yeah, it's pretty much our satellite, just like all the other moons around other planets. They're just satellites. Richard Bertrazzi, global warming on Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto cannot be blamed on humans using fossil fuels. We can't, darn. Figure blame somebody. Oh. William Scott, you said any aliens on Mars surely would be underground. Well, if it depends. If there's still an atmosphere, when NASA claims that there isn't, I believe there still is. Because if there's anything flying on Mars, then chances are there's air. I mean, how much of it? That's a different ballgame, right? So, like a small bird or something like that is not going to take in the oxygen you and I would, although they breathe a whole lot faster. So some people may argue that. Is it possible that not all the structures are destroyed? And if the climate is not what they claim, and it's actually better, then they could probably still live in the structures they have, plus underground. I mean, we do that. We have these DUMBs, these deep underground, military bases. We have people that are doing like these doomsday, underground bunkers and stuff. But there's people who actually live underground. There's actually, I forget what state it is. Maybe you guys don't know off the top of your hand and off the top of your head, or in your hand too. And maybe other countries are doing it as well. But there's actually like a whole city that's literally underground. People have dug their homes into the ground, and I think it's out west here, where it's a lot hotter. And they put their houses. They made their own houses underground, and it's awesome. You should see it. It's pretty neat. Stay nice and cool. Don't have to worry about the afternoon sun. It could hit triple digits. Not a problem. Ufology Short, you said Japan is planning a mission to Phobos in September 2024. I believe the aliens there will destroy the satellite the same way they did with the Soviet. Yeah, exactly. If that's true, I mean, if they didn't make it up, of course, and we've seen that where it had that cigar-shaped shadow on Phobos, on the moon Phobos, when the spacecraft was there, and of course they never heard a thing from, the satellite again. So if that's all true, then that's crazy. Sky Blue, you said, what if China brought a sample from the far side of the moon back to Earth, including the virus. You know what? Anything's possible. You know, you could have that thing come in like in a small meteor. And, you know, because they found that there's this microbial life on some of these rocks. So how do you know that doesn't trigger something here on this planet? We don't know. I think it's a very good possibility. Max K says, don't think it's global warming, it's universal warming. Happens in cycles. Absolutely. Oh, okay, this thing did jump on me here. Okay. Yep, Jerry. Yep, Webb won't launch until at least 24th. At least that's a scheduled date, right? So we'll see what happens there. Lindbergh, he said they say Hubble is too strong to look at the moon. But they have, though. That's the weird thing. They have looked at it. You can actually look these up. You can find there's a few pictures. And like I said before, I said this a while back. If I was the designer of this telescope, okay, I would make it so I can look at every planet in our solar system for starters. And then look out there, you know, past our solar system. Because if you can zoom in that kind of zoom, you can literally see what's on a rock, you know, literally on the ground with that kind of zoom, the way that thing's set up, you know, digitally set up to do that. So if you can see way out there, and of course a lot of times it goes by light spectrums and stuff, but that's regardless. But if you can look into Mars and every other planet, then they've seen some crazy stuff in there, and this is the reason why they're going. Of course, they already had flybys years prior to that anyway. But, you know, funny enough, it's like I said, they've had flybys go by Mercury, Venus. Of course, they had landers there as well. Some of them, they want to go back, or they want to at least go for the first time, and they want to land down there on certain planets and moons. They want to send submarines to, I think, Titan, or was it Triton? I'm trying to remember which one it was. But either way, I mean, all of a sudden there's an explosion of wanting to jump to every moon and planet in our solar system. It's like, why? Because of flybys. Or because the Hubble was able to look at certain planets and really zoom into these things and really have a close look and probably found something they're interested in. I mean, I wouldn't spend money going to another planet if I thought there was nothing on it unless I took a sneak peek first. And if I seen something on that planet or that moon or whatever it may be, and say, hey, we got to get there. Let's go. There you go. Make it so. Yeah, it's something you'd have to be adapted to, Mars Lake. She said we can't compare ourselves to bring inhabitants of other planets because it would be uncomfortable for us. I'm sorry, I said bring. Inhabitants, yeah, exactly. You'd have to be something, you had to evolve into that kind of thing, or just bring like a suit like we would do going to the moon and stuff. MG Toy said, Chris, we breathe nitrogen primarily and not oxygen. O2 is only 18% of what we breathe. Yeah, I mean, it's like a combination of, right, like you call it gases, if you will, or oxygen, stuff like that, yeah. And, you know, but people automatically assume it's like, oh, there could be anything else living on another planet, especially if it's a gaseous planet or something like that. But my argument is, well, what happens if there's no atmosphere? Never mind deadly gases. Wear a spacesuit. Or being in a structure where you can actually make your own atmosphere. So, like I said, they did the small experiment with Perseverance rover, where they've converted carbon into oxygen. So, you know, if just look at a much larger version of that, except it does other gases, whether it be nitrogen or whatever, and it can convert it to the more gas or a breathable atmosphere that they're used to breathing. It makes more sense to me that you can just adapt it, you know, to yourself. If you can't adapt to it, you can find something that can adapt it so you can actually live on that planet. Jerry Lehaney said, water underground Mars is guaranteed because I see so many people and even more animals. Yeah, they're finding, like I said, more and more, you know, water on this planet on Mars. So yeah, there's no doubt. Linda Borum, what's going on? He said, a lot of people live underground in the opal mining town of Coober Pedy here in Australia. Yeah, there too. Okay. Yep. So, I mean, a lot of people like live underground. And like I said, it can be triple digit temperatures. Who cares? You're underground. It's a constant, what, 60 degrees? Maybe 50, roughly. Even if it was 70. It's still better than triple digits out in the baking sun, right? Mimi reacts, the aliens on Phobos. Look, they sent another one. IR family said too much money to be made. Now to stop the C-19, the fair will never end. Yeah, we'll just throw a couple more variants out there. We'll throw a different other thing. Yeah, why not? It's all about fair, baby. It's what it's all about. It's kind of like cripple the country from inside. You see what it's doing? People, they weren't going to work because of that and fear of that. So then people said, I'm staying home, and they never went back. I was just watching a thing about that where they said, what are people doing? They're either collecting or, you know, doing work from home or whatever. Now, if you're doing work from home, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's great. Because the way I look at it is like, if you can make the same money, if not more than you were making at the other job or whatever, you know, whatever way it's working for you, my God, I'd do it too. That's the way I look at it. But it's going to be a constant thing, folks. If it isn't one thing, it's another one. As far as these viruses and stuff going around. They're still trying to make a big thing out of Omicron. Oh, yeah, but from the very word go, they said in Africa, they had scientists there that said it's mild at the very worst. I mean, you know, it's not bad. So I don't understand why they're still trying to press this. Oh, yes, I do. You know why? Because they want to keep getting that shot. Now they said there may be a fourth one. What do you guys think of that? Please, you failed miserably. Just admit it. This thing jumped on me again. Let's see what we got here. Lynn Berger said, thanks for the reply. I appreciate it. No problem. Thank you for your questions and comments. Robert Morgan, what's happening? He said, because the first there gets the claim to the body. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when we went to the moon, right? We're like, oh, yeah, American flag. Okay? Now, I don't know if there's any treaty between other countries. In other words, if we go to Mars, we say, okay, I stake this area. You go on there, you stake your own. As long as you can get there, you can stake your piece of land, as long as it's not somebody else's. So, you know, like I said, you got China there, ESA, NASA, and, you know, you've got, I think Russia went. Of course, they got an orbiter. They don't have a lander. And there's many other countries doing the same thing. You got India there. So more and more people are just finding interest in a planet that's dead, that has nothing but dust and rocks. Imagine that. I'm going to spend all kinds of money just so I can go to that planet and find absolutely nothing. Well, wait a minute. The United States already proved it's nothing more than rocks and dust, right? So why do we need to go? Meaning other countries should be saying this. Because there's something more to gain. And it makes you wonder, as silly as this may sound, I wonder if by watching some of these videos, other countries haven't said, well, that is kind of weird. What are they trying to hide in that photo? And then they decide to look for themselves and found something interesting and said, we need to go. Now, I'm not saying that they would just look at my videos and go, oh, yeah, well, he's, you know, so therefore we're going to spend billions of dollars and we're going to go because of his video. No. What I'm saying is maybe they looked into it because they questioned it themselves, and maybe they've seen something on somebody else's channel or mine and said, well, that's kind of interesting. Why don't we look into that ourselves? And then they made their own choice to go. I don't know. Pretty cool, though. If that's what happened. Oh, yeah. Miss Harriet, you're going way back now. You said, I love the movie Omega Man. Very sad ending. Yeah, it was. You kind of wish you would have made it, right? Yep. That was a really good movie. Or Soylent Green. That was another good movie. Matt, you said if people want to survive, they should stop killing each other. Otherwise, it's not worth it. I've said that, yeah. I mean, to me, it's like, just how about you just say, hey, listen, I recognize you as a human being, my fellow brother and sister. Wouldn't that be better? Just recognize everybody as humans. The problem is the governments want to keep you this, divide and conquer attitude, whether it's color against color, whether it's country against country. I've said this before, too. If you can stop using these, like oils and stuff like that and use electricity, and if you can power these like electric cars and stuff with the sun and not with an electric plant, because I think the only way that's going to work is if you have, first of all your power lines have to be very robust. In other words, something that's going to have to rebuild and hang new lines and everything else in order to take on a demand that's going to happen. I think if everybody had their own little solar station at their own home and charging from the sun, then it's free energy. It's not being taken off the grid or anything of that sort. That would be a cool idea. Something like you just have a solar collector, or call it what you will, that literally will charge up your battery, and then you come home and you charge up your car and it's free from the sun. Now, of course, the equipment's not, but you get the idea. It still would be free from the sun as opposed to running it off a grid. And I think they're going to have way too many cars and trucks and whatever else is going to be powered. For crying out loud, they've actually got planes now that they're messing around with that are electric. So it's like these small size Cessnas and stuff like that. I've seen videos where they have electric planes. That's cool. I mean, you don't hear this like roaring of an engine, just and just like a little hum. And I think it's the wave of the future. And if they can go to nitrogen cars as well, and get off the dino fuels, man. Get off that crap. Although I don't believe the dino fuels. I think it's something the Earth just makes by itself. I don't think it's got anything to do with dinosaurs, as they claim, or other plants and stuff like that. But like I said, if they can do that, something reusable energy, that'd be great. It'd be the best way to go. Me sunbathing on Mars? Count me in. Just watch out. Just make sure you're next to that, magnetic part of the Mars, because you can get pretty crispy in a hurry. Kyle Harvey, you said, I believe 100% there is no way we are by ourselves in the universe. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. There's no way. That's just judging just what we're seeing in our own solar system. So like I said, if it's not ours, which I guarantee it's not, then yeah, there's much more life out there. That's why when I see these things about UFOs and everybody's trying to make a big deal, I go, big deal? Why aren't they talking about what's on these other planets? In other words, I expected that. So, I'm not really blown away by the idea. They're like, oh, UFOs. Okay. No kidding. Like I said, with people getting more and more cameras and phones and everything else, you're bound to see more recordings of it. Of course, a lot of people are trying to get rich off CGI crap and stuff like that because they're making their own. But to me, it's just like, I'm not even surprised. It's like, I don't care. The bigger picture is what's really out there. They're going, where do these things come from? Is it from here on Earth or out there? Well, if we were to take the larger step and say, well, no, how about we do this? How about we reverse this and say, look at the stuff that's on Mars, the moon, and all these other places. The UFOs would seem like a small story. It'd be like, big deal. You know what I mean? Think about it. Obviously, if there's more civilizations in our own, neighborhood itself, in our own solar system, clearly you're going to see UFOs. That's provided there are still living civilizations on these moons and planets, right? Enrico Viglione, Mars mushroom soup sounds good. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Mushrooms. Mushroom soup. Just combine it. John Shaw, he said, was that the film in the 1970s where people went underground to be eaten? No. Unless you're talking about a different movie, but you're talking about Soylent Green. They were literally, things got really badly out of control where like a small bottle of olives was like $500. So they were coming up with this Soylent Green, where it was, I think it was in jars as well, but you could buy it relatively cheap. I mean, really cheap. And, you know, of course, this guy was wondering, you know, everything's so darn expensive. Why is this so cheap? Well, I found out, I don't know if it was the people were getting sick and dying on the side of the road, and that's what they did. They took them to a plant and basically processed them. That's what Soylent Green was. People. So, yeah, it was pretty wild. I'm not sure if you were talking about that or if somebody else mentioned another movie. Long Island, New York, $13.95. Crap, I missed it. No, you didn't. You're good. You are good. We're just starting off here. All right, here we go. We were talking about this. ExoMars discovers hidden water in Mars Grand Canyon. It's kind of like our Grand Canyon, only much, much larger. They say this is the length of the United States. Valles Marineris, the largest canyon in the solar system, deeply marks the surface of Mars. A tectonic crack. See, basically no tectonic plates, but there's a crack. Widened by erosion and marked by nearby channels potentially carved by water. It turns out that some of that water might still be there. Orbital observations indicate that the hidden reservoir of water exists beneath the soil at the bottom of this vast canyon. Seem to be finding a whole lot of this lately out there. Next to the South Pole and the dirt itself in Gale Crater. There's a water cycle in Gale Crater. They know that. We're finding it here. Keep going, guys. We're going to find it everywhere. We're going to have plenty of fuel once we get there, you know. Watch and see. We'll have so much water, we won't know what to do with it. Mike Knapp, what's going on, brother? Said, yo, how's things? Just got in, missed what I got in. Missed. What did I miss? But hey, Merry Christmas, bros and sis. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and yours, man. Glad you're here. Glad you made it in. Noodles, you said favorite Charlton Heston line was when the saw the Statue of Liberty head on the beach. Yeah, crazy, wasn't it? That's a very good possibility. Lynn Berger, you said, I see a lot of UFOs near LAX. I think they try to hide and blend in with the traffic. Well, some of them are pretty bold, though, aren't they? They just kind of like hover over these airports and stuff like that and like hold up traffic and everything else. That's been done. Really, really crazy. And you know, and of course, they don't do any harm. It's just like they just halt all kinds of traffic. Let me just move this around here a little bit. They just halt the traffic coming in and out. So there's like planes like just flying around until they say, okay, can this thing get lost so we can land or take off? So it's like they're just saying, hey, we're here. I mean, it's what it comes down to, right? Haven't heard anybody, any of these UFOs do any damage or anything like that, so. Third Eye Open, how are you? Good to see you in there. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. I hope you're well as well. Glad to have you in there, as always. Mr. Bush Corey, what's going on? Ufology, I was thinking it was full of BS. Talking to, yeah, ufology. Mike Knapp, sorry, it was my sister's 40th. Yeah, I don't blame you there, but no, family first, bro. Do what you got to do. Dean Brazil, what's going on? Hi, Chris. What have I missed? Sorry I'm late. I was putting the kids to bed. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Dean. We're just talking about, like this one here, you know, ExoMars. They're talking about how they discovered more hidden water in Mars Grand Canyon, which is the Valles Marineris area. And like I said, this is like the length of the United States. You can basically put it right there. And we were talking about the James Webb telescope. That's going to be, you know, launched in the 24th, just before Christmas. So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah. So we got onto that. We were talking about other things as well. I don't know if you guys have seen this either. It said, of course, this is China's space agency. Video of a comet Leonard passing by Earth, photographed by commercial optical astronomical satellite Yang Wang, I think it's called, Yang Wang, yeah, well, Yo Wang, whatever, designed by the original space. But anyway, you can see it. I don't know if they're also on, what do you call it, as well. But you can see it right here. Watch this. This is pretty cool. Right about here, you're going to see something go by. I'm trying to remember if it goes by this way, but then it goes from left to right, and you can see this thing. One goes by fast. There goes one right there. But then you'll see them going this way, underneath of the comet, or asteroid. See, one right here. See it going like this, going across? Look at this. That was pretty neat. That was pretty cool. Let me show you that again. There goes one right there going down to the left corner. And here it comes right here from left and coming to the bottom. Check this out. What is that? Is it possibly another rock? I'm sure it is. The Tiangong space station welcomes the first sunshine in a day. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is pretty cool. Basically, the space station, their space station. I said, I don't know if this is actually someplace else, but... Let me get my fat head out of the way here. Isn't that pretty? Let's fast forward this bad whamma jamma. You see right there, just coming up over this. Hey, right there, it's just coming up over around the Earth. Look at that, that's pretty cool. I can just see it now. Man, that can't be the Earth, man, because our Earth is flat. Oh God, here we go again. Now, how do you not love these people? But pretty interesting to say the least, right? So yeah, it was pretty interesting. The other thing too is I got from Twitter. Let me see if I can. And this is from what do you call it? Jeremy Corbell. Big UFO news, big day. You all made this happen. Your voices have been heard, and representative government is representing the will of the people of UFO transparency. And of course, they have like Senator Gillibrand, Senator Rubio Press, Lindsey Graham, and so on and so forth. But they talk about requires actions on, and I'm reading it right here. You can see that. Well, you may not be able to because of the screen, but the legislation requires the Secretary of Defense and the Director of National Intelligence to take actions to address unidentified aerial phenomena. Please stop calling it. Call it UFOs. Still the same thing. Also known as UFOs, and report back to Congress the findings in annual and biannual briefings and reports. Teams of officials and experts from the intelligence community would rapidly respond to military UFOs and conduct investigations through the recent passed legislation. Now, that tells me maybe the government's already got enough information about UFOs. They don't care. Now they can just do this like little team where, you know, they don't mind going after these things now. In other words, they've already got all the information they could possibly get off a UFO, whether it's back engineering, where it came from. So now they just don't care. Because why would they go out of their way to say, hey, yeah, you're right. We're going to use a little bit more transparency. We're going to try to catch these things, find out where they came from. We'll just bring it right to you people. Don't worry about it. We got you. We got your back. Whatever. This has been going on for how long? Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Andrew Cole, what's going on? He said, evening, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Mars, the second Genesis, what's going on? You said if you need foreshot, it means it don't work. It failed, man. It failed miserably. Well, that's because of, you know, it's what do you call it? It's mutating. Whatever. You like that, Lindbergh, huh? Jeremy Crotch. Josh D said, Earth is flat and made of swamp gas. Man, we're just finally realizing that now? Jesus, man. Wish I would have known that before. Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh, let's see. Hubble Space Telescope, the latest spectacular images from the cosmos, 2022. And of course, this is the Hubble. There's a lot of things I follow there, whether it be China's space program, Hubble, NASA, ESA. You can see it right here. Coming up today, Webb online press briefing. Media representatives are invited to follow ESA's online press briefing, scheduled a week before the launch of the Webb telescope. Speakers for the briefing in English are Professor, I guess. Daniel, someone, I guess they're going by their, what do you call it, either Twitter name or whatever. But anyway, it's ESA International Newsroom Press. Webb flies Ariane. So, yeah, pretty cool, right? Get into the chopper. Let me see. ESA Telecommunications, a new conference center, is being built at ESA's site in the UK that will showcase the global impact of European space activities backed by Space Government UK. The facility is being developed by so-and-so who gives a crap, right? So, but yeah, get on the chopper. So, yeah, some pretty interesting news out there, right? And this week you can find a lot of the space news. It's on space.com. And you can put /.news and you can find it there. NASA's Mars helicopter Ingenuity passes 30 minutes of total airtime. Woohoo! Even if it is being bombarded or swooped down by an eagle or some kind of weird Martian bird. Scientists spot water ice under the Grand Canyon of Mars. Exclusive question, heavy metal CEO Matt. Remember that movie there? Heavy metal back in the day. I think it was in the 80s as well. The Terraforming. That was pretty funny. Now 2 minutes of streaming. Okay, we don't care. NASA's Parker solar probe has touched the sun in daring mission milestone. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I mean, NASA greenlights Axiom Space's second private mission to International Space Station. Oh, yeah. See, James Webb Space Telescope launch delay to Christmas Eve. Man, I hope they don't delay this thing any more than they have to. Let's get it done, man. Of course, they do make a great point, because once it does go up there, it's supposed to be 1 million miles away from Earth, that if it's got a problem, it's on its own. So you know that these, and that may be, I was just going to say, and you know this is the reason why they're delaying this thing, because they want this thing to be absolutely perfect. Because once they get it out there, you know what the kind of information that thing's going to bring back? It's going to be crazy. You know, so it's going to look back, you know, whatever billions of years in the past by looking outward. So they want this thing to, because it's supposed to, again, it's supposed to like unfold itself as it's flying past the moon, and it's supposed to be completely opened up and everything else by the time it gets to its destination. So I can understand why they want the thing perfect. I can understand why the delays and everything. But you're talking a 20-year project. Oh my God, it's crazy just how much they did this, how much they, you know, time and money they put into this. Andrew Cole, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, your work is very important. Thank you for everything you've done in 2021. It's not far now. Well, again, I do appreciate that, and thank you for your support, as always. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot more crazy stuff coming up. What do you guys think? What do you think? Are we going to get a lot more disclosure next year, or is it going to be the same mundane kind of drip, drip, drip? What do you guys think? From what you guys read, have seen, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be faster? Do you think it's going to be slower? I mean, what do you guys think? Ufology Shores. That was a good impression. Yeah. Jerry Lehane, if the chopper on Mars flies, there's breathable air. Well, they do say it does change, obviously, from summertime to fall or wintertime and stuff like that, because, like I said, a lot of cold, when air is colder, it's more condensed and so on and so forth. But there is humidity on Mars because there is moisture. And, of course, it does get warm in the summer months, as well as being next to the, like I said, the, well, I mean, actually, I'm trying to remember if they had it over there, too. Like, I was trying to think of Gale Crater, where they actually have a water cycle there. So if you have water there and it gets warm enough during the day, you're going to have some kind of humidity, and, of course, you're going to have evaporation. This is the reason why we've seen cirrus clouds in these photos, some of these photos. You ever see that? Where you can actually see they had, like, stills, and they were taking them and they were doing this, and you can see these, like, cirrus clouds, which are usually like a weather-changing cloud, if I'm not mistaken, and or like a fair weather cloud to, like, weather-changing clouds. And so if they have that, and if you're next to the equatorial region and it's even warmer, you know what I mean? So there you go. But they do claim that obviously it needs to fly, because I think that now it's up to what, 2,700 RPMs or 28, I forget what it was, but I think it was like 2,600 RPMs to get it off the ground last time. Now that it's getting colder, now they have to put a little bit more rotor speed into it to get it to lift off better. So oops. Somebody said something to me. Lapis, maybe a plant attacked the copter. They hunt in herds. Well, I mean, they claim it's dust. Now, I would imagine if something was close to the lens, it would be like a blur because it's focused on the ground, something coming into it. But it's literally going in and out, coming back in, going, if that's true. I see something that's much, much higher in the air. Now, this thing could be no bigger than the actual copter. Now, keep in mind that the further you go away from the ground, your shadow becomes bigger until it goes up so high that you just kind of disappear and there's no more shadow. So you can see how crisp the Ingenuity helicopter is. Its shadow, it's nice and clean, it's crisp. But as it was to keep going higher and higher and higher, like several hundred feet in the air, this thing would start to get fuzzy. You wouldn't see the sharp edges you see. So God even knows what that was flying above it. I think it was something flying above it and not some piece of dust like a lot of people would think. I don't know. Sky Blue, he said that UFO was an alien chopper. Yeah, I hate it when those things. Weren't those a 6-speed back in the day? My buddy had one of those. Those were pretty cool back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it can have enough. You were just going back with Jerry. Yeah, Jerry, Long Island, New York. He said, Jerry, that's not necessarily true, my man. Yeah, because I mean, you can have enough air, but just not enough oxygen, right? So you can have air, but depends on what it's made out of and everything else. Because mostly it's supposed to be more of a carbon type thing than it is oxygen. So, but the thing is, it's like, from what we've seen, like I said, the mistakes they've made where we've seen that the sky was blue, and then suddenly, not even half a minute later, it's all red. So there is a blue sky on Mars. Whether they claim it, it's not. It is. They've made that mistake with the InSight lander. We have water cycles like in Gale Crater, and I can promise you they got them in other parts of that planet. And now they're finding more and more water. Blue sky, clouds, water cycles. The poles actually shrink like our planets do, and then they get more ice in the winter months. And it's not just CO2; it's actually H2O, and they found that out, which I already knew that. I already said that long before they said it. So when you combine all of these things, you're like, come on, it's hard to believe that nothing could survive on that planet. Mimi, you said you don't think it'll be faster, huh? Still a drip, drip, drip. Yep, could very well be. Azrael, what are you trying to figure? He said, wait, what now? Lynn Berger. Haven't had a cell phone in 2 or more years. I think I have phonophobia or something. Maybe like, tweaking, man, gotta have it. Going through that phone withdrawal. Kyle, you said, as a matter of fact, I guarantee you they will have more delays. I'm hoping not. I'd love to see that thing actually give, talking about the Webb telescope, I would imagine. Hopefully it will. They'll get the thing out and about. Because I think they probably worked it all out now because you can see them in the clean room. They're looking to launch this thing. So hopefully they can get this thing off the ground and get done, right? NASA's Perseverance rover finds organic chemicals on Mars. Now this time, and it says 1 day ago this is published. Remember I told you about that? But now check this out. Perseverance has identified carbon-containing organic chemicals in some of the rocks. It has examined on the floor of a Mars Jezero crater, or Jezero, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Mission team members announced on Wednesday. To be clear, this is not detection of Mars life. Organics can be produced by both biological and non-biological means, and more work is needed to figure out what processes generated Jezero compounds. Well, as far as I'm concerned, these are regular organics. Like I said, it'll slowly come out, very slowly, but you watch and see. They're going to find that. They're going to say, oh, yeah, it was past life. And then they're going to roll on. They're going to say, oh, wow, we found something that looks like a little plant. We didn't think that we overlooked it. But it looks like a little piece of organic. It looks like a small, whether it's a Martian grass or whatever it may be. They'll find something. You watch. And slowly let it out. What's going on there, Frax Centurion? Good to see you in there. He said, I want 2022 to be cloud free. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Kyle Harvey said, delays are to keep us in the dark. Sadly, I think you're right. Andrew Cole, you said human incompetence will sooner or later lead to something leaking out. Oh yeah, and I hope somebody does. Hope somebody is disgruntled at one of these space programs. They say, oh yeah, watch this, I'll let it out. Like I said, they can send it to me for all I care. Just make sure it's anonymous if you don't want to know who it is. You know, if I can't write back to you or anything. Because I get those every now and then. And like I said, years ago, I remember some guy saying, well, I think it was a guy, said, you're on the right track, keep doing what you're doing. So I was like, oh yeah, can you tell me more? What do you mean? Couldn't be sent. It was automatically sent back. I was like, damn. So they didn't get specific, you know, but you're on the right path, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, okay. Can you give me more information? I won't say anything, blah, 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 blah. Second I hit, boom, it came right back. Fraction turn, yeah, clear skies matter. Ricardo, you said the disclosure tab will continue to drip. It's like info boarding, waterboarding the public with drip fed. Yeah. Yep. William Sky said the Chinese and the Greeks thousands of years ago used a gunpowder to fire rockets. Nothing has changed. Yeah, pretty much. It's just larger firecrackers, right? Lynn Berger said, where's the best place to view moon pictures for anomalies? You can look up any like Apollo mission photos or the LROC, which is a Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera. You can look at, just Google it, and it'll have like a bunch of them, just put photos or pictures, whatever, and you'll see all kinds of photos and stuff like that. You can literally pull apart all kinds of crazy stuff. John Schaub, he said, Chris, you're small now. Yeah, I'm tiny. No, I did that so I can get my face out of there when I was trying to show the screen here. U.S. military video shows hypersonic aircraft test flight. See, here we go, guys. But of course, look at the date on it, which is funny. It's funny that they had it on there, but yet this says 2011. What? But you know, if they're testing this thing, hypersonic aircraft, think about it. Remember the Chinese? Everybody's like, oh my God, they went around the Earth and they did it from such and such time and blah 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 blah. These guys were doing this in 2011, folks, and you know it's been a lot sooner than that. They claim it now, but that don't mean squat. The Falcon hypersonic HTV-2 aircraft emerges from its payload fairing before gliding back to Earth. So a lot of these things have been, listen, a lot of people are fearing China. Don't. I'm not saying they're not a force to be reckoned with. I'm saying, but don't think for a moment we don't have anything a lot better than what they've got, or at least equivalent. So, and like I said, somebody had mentioned before, oh, you don't understand these guys. China, you got to watch out for China. I'm telling you right now, because they stole our technology and they're going to use it against us. Wait a minute. Back up. If they stole our technology, that means we have the technology. Do you think we're just going to let them openly do whatever they want to us or any other country? No, not going to happen. So, you know, this is the reason why everybody's constantly upping their game, because you want to at least be matched or better than your opponent. It's as simple as that, right? Mars Leak, she said, can't see the obfuscating AI covering everything up in the things to come in the curiosity of images. I mean, yeah, the only thing I can think of is that it's like they don't cover everything completely up. So the only thing I can think of is they're just hoping, like, whoever's doing this kind of stuff, like it could be you, me, anybody else, they're trying to drag this through this, you know, manipulation and censoring, that they're hoping that's the way the dripping is going to come out, basically. And of course, the Pentagon's playing their little part, and you know, Luis Elizondo and all these puppets and stuff. You know, he was just saying, no, you guys all made it possible, blah, 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 yeah, whatever. Like I said, I mean, unless you're the leader or the head guy in one of these, like the CIA, NIA, NSA, whatever the heck, you know, ASS, whatever. Unless you're the head person in there, why would they suddenly come to a person like you, even though you work for their branch? They're pretty much capable of doing it themselves. They don't need you to do that. So the only thing I can think of is they say, well, he's going to be our mouthpiece, and that's pretty much what they're doing with these guys, right? But he's just like really, you know, glamoring it, you know, kind of thing, making it look like, ooh, you know, really over-embellishing it as far as I'm concerned. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, I appreciate you guys doing everything for me. Yeah, I'll guarantee it. Probably driving around a brand new Rolls Royce by now, too. Mimi, you taking off? He said, I'm taking off here. Sleep well and stay safe. Good night. All right, Mimi, have a good night there, right? Be safe, and like I said, I'll probably end up talking to you guys before Christmas anyway, but if I don't, Merry Christmas and to you and yours. Well, in New York, he said, depending on is trying to sweep this subject under the rug again. Well, I mean, it's like they're slowly letting this stuff out. Again, drip, drip, drip. To me, I'd go, listen, this is what we got so far in the UFOs. Just throw it down. You know, what's his name there? You know, these guys like Jeremy, you know, these people, whoever they are, they're like, you know, I got a 24-minute video. I can't show you yet. What's the point? Just stifle it then, you know. Either let it out and let the public see it, or shut it. That's the way I look at it. You know, it's like they're going, oh, they got the old, you know, carrot in front of the donkey kind of thing. It's like, stop. We'll lead you guys by the nose, don't worry. Equalizer said, unfortunately, the majority of people are happy to be controlled by their governments. They are scared of their own shadows. There are only a minority of people like us who make their own judgments. Yeah, I mean, I wish people would get more and more involved, right? Because it's like me, and I know you guys are all the same, but you're like, oh yeah, tell me more, tell me more. If they told you tomorrow they found structures on the moon or Mars, you'd be like, oh, okay, tell us something we don't know. Because you're in the know. And if you've done your own work, then you know this for yourself. So you'd be like, okay, now tell us more. And they're going to be, well, you're not shocked? No. We've known this since the Apollo missions. We know it's full of crap. It's like, we know you're full of crap because we've known this for some time now. Not to mention either I did my own homework or I've learned this for somebody else who's basically brought this information out. I'm not shocked by it. Not the least bit. I'm completely acclimated to it. Tell me more. Mags K, your question was, Chris, do you think that Congress pressing the Pentagon for answers will work? I think, I don't know. It depends on, you know, it's kind of like the president is nothing more than a PR puppet, right? So if he says, I demand you guys tell me about the UFOs, be like, yeah, whatever. You're on a need-to-know basis like everybody else in the public. It depends on how high they're going up in the Pentagon, right? I mean, they can press them, sure. And they probably will actually leak out more of it. But is it a big show they're putting on? I don't know. It's like we're going to find out in the future, that's for sure. And I think it's going to be more, it seems to be more and more accelerating. Have you guys noticed that? More and more launches, more and more UFOs, more and more of this going on. A lot more space activity going on, whether it's ours, what we're doing with the space station, China's doing with their space station, so on and so forth. It's like, it seems to be a lot of this space action going on lately, and it's only ramping up. So we got Elon, we got our own space agencies doing it, going to different planets, going to different moons. And, you know, like I said, then when, ooh, you know, the big invasion, UFOs. Again, yawn. Could care less. Like I said, when I've seen what I've seen on these the moon and other planets, not even a bit surprised. It doesn't even faze me. And if they are, let's say there's some still on these moons or planets in our own solar system, think about it. How long have they been there? Don't you think they would have attacked the humans by now? So that's what tells me two things. They're just making themselves, you know, visual to everybody, and then they don't mean any harm. Or it's some other jackass in another country saying, hey, look what we built. You can't mimic us. We're fast. So this is the reason why I'd be in an uproar if I was the military here, or if I was in your country. If I was your military, I'd be like, yeah, I want to know what country this is coming from, not another planet. Because, again, I'd be more fearful from somebody here on this planet than I would be out there. Because by then, like I said, if they were around for X amount of years, they could, just like that, take us out. Just like that. Whether it be germ warfare, some kind of silent killer, or just dominate the planet. I mean, come on. You know, if they've been around that many thousands of years, it's be a breeze. Simple EMP. Completely kill the whole planet and there'd be nothing to take over the planet. Mars League says Biden is just another puppet, a real slow puppet. You're being kind. I got other words for him, but I'm going to be nice. I mean, if you want to completely trash a country, that's the way to do it. Hire a fudge packer like him. Guys, I'm trying to fathom how everybody was quick to say, oh, impeach, Trump and this and that, but yet they let this guy run rampant and everybody's okay with it. I just don't understand it. If the guy's got medical issues or some kind of issues, I don't disrespect that. I really don't. But knowing that he has these issues, why don't they address it and say, listen, you're just not capable of being the president any longer. We need to just move you along. That's all. I'm not going to make fun of somebody who has some kind of health problems. It is what it is. But knowing that he is the way he is, move him along, man. Next. Call it impeachment, call it what you want, but get him out of there. And Harris isn't much better. She can go along with him. Miss Heard, you taking off? You said, I've got to go, everyone. Wishing you all much love and great blessings. All right, Miss Heard, thanks for being here. Appreciate your support and you being here. And you have a good evening there, right? And have a good weekend. What's going on there, Pat Owen? Good to see you in there. Marco Besta, he said, hi, Chris. I've sent you cool moon photos of two aliens standing next to each other near a crater. And I created a third. And I created a third of an alien that crashed in his... Okay, I'll check it out. I will definitely check it out. Lynn Berger said, I tried to tell my dad and my brother about the structures on the moon. They think I'm nuts. Well, I mean, the thing is, the only thing you can do is actually show them yourself. And like I said, I've got one coming out this week. It'll probably be early this week of the moon. It's the way they do these photos up. They try to trick your eyes because there's this huge contrast with dark and light. And like I said, half an object could be light and the other one's dark. And but once you make this side here lighter, then you can actually see the whole object. And you can see, if you look really good, you can see these things with ease. I mean, it's just like you're going, wow. And once your eyes adjust to it, you see these small items all in a row and laid out on the ground, you go, wow. It just literally pops right out at you. And yeah, I mean, like they say, you can't lead a horse to water, right? Well, you can, but you can't get them drink. So the way I look at it is sometimes, I've had people come to my channel and said, man, I was a total disbelief. I didn't believe in any of that crap. And then I watched some of your stuff and then I looked into the links you gave me. I looked it up myself and I'm a believer now. So that's what I love. Leave the link. People can check it out themselves and they can come to their own conclusions. It's not about saying, yeah, this is it. Demand. What I say is written in stone. No. I find what I find in these photos and then I bring it to you guys and then we analyze it. Simple as that. Give you the link so you can check it out yourself. John Shop, we're all nuts. I don't think any one of us here are nuts because you can't be a nut if you actually have proof of this. Now, if you came out and you said to your neighbor, hey, I got a Tyrannosaurus Rex in my backyard, they're going to go, you know what I mean? But if you were to show them and it was actually there, then they'll eat their own words and probably run like hell too. But when you actually see, these things in these photos, if you can get past the censoring and the garbage that they put over them, and you see these things, you go, well, okay, I only seen one thing that probably, got me thinking, wow, that's pretty cool, but I'm not so sure of it. Okay, then you see another photo, then another photo, then another photo, and you only pull out one piece of that, and you go, wait a minute, why am I seeing something on here that looks intelligently made? I shouldn't see that. Whether it's on our moon, on Mars. You shouldn't see any of this stuff. There's no life on there, according to our space agencies, right? There's no life on these planets or moons. So how can this possibly be? Spooner FPV said, if they had the TR-3B, why do you think that they would waste time with anything else? Well, here's the thing, though. Is the TR-3B now old? Think about it. When's the first time we heard about the TR-3B? It's kind of like the SR-71, okay? Which was built, like I said, it was probably... Plans were, made in the 40s. It was built in the 50s. Nobody heard hide or hair of it until declassified in what, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s? So the TR-3B is probably old technology too. It's probably what took the SR-71's place. So it was because it was basically ancient, basically technology. But for its time, this thing was absolutely insane. And it's still a great aircraft. So the TR-3B, I think it's old hats. I think they've got something even far better than that. Could be that Tic Tac. Could be something along them lines. Of course, like I said, I'm still yet to see anything that's clear. Man, the military's got all kinds of high-tech cameras and everything else, but man, just can't get a clear photo of one of these off the side of the ship. We can't see anything clear. We just see a fuzzy pile of crap photo or video with something supposedly dropping into the water. I don't see it drop in the water. I just see it just vanish. I don't know. It's trash. It's either night vision, infrared, it's dark, it's whatever, it's fuzzy, it's a joke. Show me something realistic. Ever notice that? You never see anything crystal clear. And even if it was daytime, wasn't under like a infrared or anything of that sort, just a normal picture, even if it was slightly blurry, you can get some, oh, wow, that looks like it is an actual UFO. You never see that. How come? Yeah. Because it's bogus. Until I see something that's like clear as day, and I don't mean, it doesn't have to be super, super clear, but because maybe it's in motion. But if I've seen something in the daytime and it's pretty good detail, then I go, I'd start to believe. And even then, it's got to take more than just, hey, look, we got a UFO. Whatever. Clerks 93, why don't they use the tech already then and take over? Are you talking about the people who might have already built it? Maybe it's like the Tic Tac, if they built it here, if it was one of these, one of the countries here in the United States, or are you talking about like a UFO type thing? Oh, I don't hate Harris. I just think she's not much better. I think she's just, you said We Are Sovereign says, oh, he hates Harris. I mean, everybody who's talked about her said she's not much better than Biden is. I mean, when you hear her talk, she's like totally oblivious. She was supposed to go down to the border. She avoids it at all costs because they just want these people to come into this country. They're not doing much about it to stop all of this. Especially when COVID was running rampant. Remember that? They were just letting them in droves. It's like, so how do you expect anything to drop off, even if you to say, you know what, we're not going to keep anybody from coming into the country. Why don't we just go ahead and let them come in? Okay, why don't you stop them temporarily while all this crap's going on, so we can get this to come down as far as this explosion of any virus. No, just keep coming in. It'll be all right. So, I think half of them got their heads up their rear ends and don't have a clue. And by the way, I'm not, Republican nor Democrat. I'm for myself. I just believe in being real. And if you're going to vote for anybody, vote for yourself. It's just like when I see the things and the crazy things going on with this country. Now, keep in mind, there isn't a president out there that's been absolutely perfect. Now, I mean, every single person loves this person. So they're going to make mistakes. They're going to do it. But when you have issues, like, let's say health issues, whatever, again, nothing to laugh at. But if he's having issues, or she, depending on who's the president, if they're having issues, move them out, man. There's no point in, like, jeopardizing a country because of this. But also keep in mind, it's not just the president that's in charge. It's the people behind him, right? again, he's the puppet. So, there are other people running the country, like the military, stuff like that. They, these different heads of these people know what's going on. So then they got like financial advisors, military advisors. They're all running the country. It isn't so much him. He's just one that just lets out the, what's going on. This is what we promised to do. And what was that I was going to say earlier? The sky's blue and the birdies are nice. I mean, if the guy's having issues, move him out. That's all. I don't care what president. It has nothing to do with him particularly, nor Harris. It's just got to do with, if you're going to have these people in, make sure they're competent. Do right by the people. I don't care if you're either side. Do right by the people. Not by what you think is good, what you think is good for the people. $786 Auto, what's going on? He said amen to that, Chris. Appreciate you being here, 786 Auto. Good to have you in there. Max K said it's just sad if he's being coerced, but detrimental to the well-being of America. Yeah, pretty much. Pat Owens says, Chris, and all the good people in the chat, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Same right back to you, Pat. I hope you and the family have a good one there, right? That's awesome. Am I the only one here that just says Christmas doesn't feel like Christmas this year? Or is it just me? I mean, you're trying to make the best of it, right? You're saying, yes, positive thoughts. Nice Christmas. Everybody get together as far as family. This, that, and the other. And it's just, whatever's happened since last year, it seems like it's just put a damper on everything, right? Am I the only one that feels that way, or are you guys feeling the same way? Equalize, you said exactly from the first day of Trump's presidency to the last day, they were trying to get rid of him with massive lies. Now, an incompetence gets away with literally everything. It's scary. Yep. I think just jumped on me again here. Mike Knapp, he said it won't happen again. God, I hope you're right. Third Eye Open, he said, I'm feeling similar. Mm-hmm. Troll, you said, hasn't felt like Christmas since 2018, in my opinion. I knew you're still getting drunk and start eating mushrooms. Yeah, stop getting drunk rather and start. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Josh, he said, I will be again alone, I think you said, with Christmas and loving it. LOL, no trees, no hassle, just research. There you go. Andrew Cole, you said, the Christmas feeling is not the same. You're not alone there, Chris. Now, don't get me wrong. We all want to think, positive, optimistically in the whole 9 yards, right? And I'm down with that. But it's like, it makes it so hard, right? And this never-ending barrage of bullshit that the people are getting, that we're all getting around the world. It's not just here in the States, right? It's everywhere. Just mandatory this, mandatory that. Don't do this, don't do that. And you feel like you're just like in prison more than anything. But the good thing about the internet is you're not. You know what I mean? You can reach out and stuff like that, which is like cool. Like we were talking about when everything was like really bad last year. A lot of you guys have said the same thing. It's good to have like a place to come hang out to get away from all this BS and be able to just talk with other like-minded people and get your mind off of this garbage. And I totally agree. I try not to even watch TV. If I do, I automatically go to streaming a movie or a documentary of any of that sort, or just go on the computer and just do some more research. But that's it. I try to stay away from the TV. Maybe some local weather once in a while or some other stuff. But as far as that, I can't stand commercials. In fact, a buddy of mine who we were just talking about, I said, remember when MTV first came out? That was the bomb. It was like, you know, it's like, and it was like, was it Dire Straits was the first one, Money for Nothing, or was it the, well, they had the Buggles on, which is what, video killed the video killed the radio star, and there was other ones like that. But I remember the day that with the astronaut jumping around and MTV, and then it became garbage. It just went from decent to reality shows to trash, and then they should call it RTV, reality TV, or garbage TV, whichever. I'm not a big fan of reality TV. I could care less whatever people are doing in their lives, like all these stars. Ooh, you know, he's dating this one now, or she's dating. I care why? I just don't care. You know, I would rather try to get something that's a positive, forward learning as opposed to brain rot. You know, that's just me though. You know, I don't speak for everybody, of course. I'm just not a big fan of that kind of stuff. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I love the idea of Christmas. I love the idea of getting together with my family. I think it's great. It's just been so much hampering all of that and the positive feelings, you know. But, you know, you can do it. You know, just stay away from all the negativity and you'll be fine. Noodles, you said, shh. It's easy to go back on promises with Alzheimer's. Time for a pure change beyond figureheads, beyond politics, any government, like Star Trek, and we will inherit the galaxy. That's true. Elaine, you said same here, although not, I felt like Christmas since the lost hubby 4 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Elaine. I don't remember hearing you say that before, but I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, but the good thing about it is you can always think about the good times, which is good. It's kind of like weird mixed feeling, you know, like, you know, we've had loved ones that passed, and so you get upset because they're not here. But on the other side of the token, you can celebrate what you did have, and you know, have the laughs and everything else. And if you had recordings of those days, or you know, whatever it may be, pictures, then it kind of enlightens you, and you know, the people would rather see you happy anyway, as opposed to down in the dumps. But I know a lot of times it doesn't make you feel any better, but you get the idea. Yeah. And this thing just jumped on me again. I love that. Pat Owen says, I want my MTV. I used to want it too. Now it's trash. Andrew Corey, yep. Your papers, please. Alfie Joe Bob, he says, Elizondo works for the CIA, disinformation agent. I don't know if he's a true disinfo agent. I think, like I said, he's just a puppet. And they're slowly letting this stuff out, only letting so much out at a time. But he tries to embellish a lot to the point where he's trying to pump you up. So don't worry, guys, it's coming out. The next piece is coming out. So he's got these little talk shows now, and he's getting paid to do all this. So he's rolling in the cash. Or he is just a bunch of BS, and he's just making these stories up as he goes along. So just because he had a, you know, he had a job with one of these, you know, with an NSA or whatever it might have been, I don't care if it's a DOD, whatever it is. Even if he did, that doesn't mean he can't be lying about these subjects. But because he had that, you know, when he worked there, people go, oh, he's got to be truthful because he used to work for that. So two things come to my mind. If he's telling the truth and they didn't want him to tell it, then he would have had like a hole in his head by now. And if he's telling the truth and, you know, and they are actually feeding him this information to leak it out, then they just say, we'll just use him. And like I said, again, we'll let the information, we'll channel it through him and just let it be. We'll just do it that way. So we don't have to get up to the podium and tell everybody, right? He says, well, you know, like I told you guys last time, he said, well, you know, these Pentagons and these governments should be telling us this stuff. Not me, not little old me kind of thing. He says, but, you know, I'm the one that mitigates it and stuff like that. And, you know, basically they channel it through him. Oh, don't you feel special? I don't know. I'm just not, I don't believe all that. They're just going to just put it all in this guy's hands. When clearly we know for a fact. Now, I shouldn't say that because let me go back. Just because we all know that for a fact that we've been lied to on a scale that we can't comprehend, and we're probably only touching the iceberg at that point, that, what about the other, what would you guys say, 95, 97% of the public either don't know or just, whatever. They just don't care. They just, let me get my reality TV, where's the popcorn? Ah. And that's what they're doing. They don't care. Robert Morgan said it definitely doesn't feel like it is this year. More so than the rest. Yeah. Yep. Full disclosure. He said they are training us to obey. Yeah, and sadly it's working. You know, it's being done but with fair, right? You know? And it's sad that it's like that, but people are just lining right up. Pat Owen, you said there are many genuinely nice people in this chat. That's a fact. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of cool people in here. That's what I love about everybody that's here. It's awesome. Mars League, he said TV is pure shite, basically. Yep. I agree. Trell, you said reality TV killed MTV. Yeah, I mean, I guess they tried it out. They said, hey, why don't we try this? Like, remember that? It was like evening times they would just have this on, right? I remember when they had, it was all music. There was no commercials. Then, of course, they had to get paid promotions, stuff like that. There was more commercials, more and more and more. Then in the evening times, they had reality shows. I'm going, why are they doing this? I said, oh, it's okay. As long as I can still see, you know, the music videos in the morning or in the afternoon, I'm good. And then I forget what it was, like prime time, whatever the heck it was, like 7, 8 o'clock. Then we went to garbage TV. So I remember it well, and I thought it was good. Then it started cutting into like 5, 4 o'clock. And what is going on? Then, of course, if you go to MTV2, if you're into rap, I guess that was the place to be. Not for me. I go to VH1. Oh, this isn't too bad. I remember one. If any of you guys live up in like Boston or Massachusetts, if you do, then you remember V66, which was all music videos, which was like, oh, this is awesome. So it was a nice change from MTV to that. So it was pretty cool. But of course, I think that's long since been gone too. Yeah, Robin, like you just said, you forgot hip hop all the time. Yeah, it's just like, Remember, money for nothing. Brilliant. Yep, and your chicks for free. Josh D said, reality TV is the dumbest thing ever invented, even more than a nuke. It's the ultimate drone making tool. Well, the thing is, it's like, the weird thing about it, people like fell right into that. They love it. I'm like, why would you like garbage TV? It's like I'm so interested in what Billy Bob's going to be doing this week. Who cares? Who gives a crap? I'd rather watch a good movie, you know, sit down with the wife or something like that, watch a good movie and just chill, you know, whatever, and, you know, and do some more research. It's just food, man. Just feed the brain, you know. I'm not interested in just garbage that people are talking about, you know, Susie broke up with Jimmy because whatever. What? Who cares? Now, of course, if it's your close family member and stuff, you're going to care. But I mean, other than that, it's like, why do I care what somebody else is doing? Especially these, what is the Kardashians or whatever? Whatever. Like I said, I'm just not a big fan of it. That's just my personal opinion, right? Robert Morgan, MTV Headbangers Ball. Yes, that was actually a pretty good program. Scientific Search for Extraterrestrials says MTV used to show good rock bands. I think MTV was sold to a person who didn't like rock. Yeah, no doubt, huh? Healer, Elmo Bay says it's all about product placement. Yep. Injured Cold, he said, if aliens wanted the planet for themselves, what would be more logical? Engage us directly or get us to destroy ourselves? Well, that's true. But how many times, like, it seems to be working destroying ourselves, but I think that's through, whether it be resources we're fighting over or whatever, because how many times you heard, like, they literally fly around and, you know, shut down military bases. So they don't really want us to destroy ourselves. We're just doing that automatically by ourselves because we just love war. And, of course, money. So we'll kill for it, for whatever we need. So, you know, I think they should just, like, they always make that joke about landing on the White House lawn. Why not? Or just communicate throughout everybody's radio and TV all at the same time and just say, yeah, you know, we're here. It would be a lot better off, I think. Mad Pogue, you said Dire Straits, Men at Work, the Bangles, the Police, those were the days. Yep. Dire Straits like Skate Away, good song. Yep. Oh, the Bangles, the lead singer. What was her name? Oh my God, she was cute. Thanks, Kay. Said I'm with you, Chris. What's the point? You got the right idea. Mm-hmm. Robert Morgan said reality TV cheap and lucrative to show. The cattle ate it up. Sadly, yep. Yeah, you're right about that, MG420. Said people care more about what's happening on TV than in their own family members' lives. Yep. Yes, indeed. Mars League said humanity has come to, gotta know what the Kardashians been up to. And it's like, I don't care. It's like, why? Why? Max K, you said, I love a good read. There you go. I mean, here's the thing. If you want to separate yourself from negativity, stop watching it. Stop listening to it. You know, I hear the people, I've said that many a time. I'm so tired of hearing about negative garbage. Now, don't get me wrong. You want to hear what's going on in the world to a certain degree, but it's always negative. You know. Now, sometimes I put some positive stuff on there, you know. Excuse me. Oh, this drink is killing me. You don't mind, you know, a little bit of bad news as long as it's good in with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have those positive stories and stuff like that, and it's awesome. I love it. But I'd rather stay away from it. It's kind of like negative people. Just stay away. You know, you could try to help somebody along the way, and if they don't like it, or they flip it on you, then you go, okay, negative, trash, next. Or you try to give somebody advice and they just piss on it, then, well, okay, next. They just don't care. You know, move on. There's no point in getting hung up on it. Now, this is what you guys will love this. UN confirms hottest temperature ever recorded in the Arctic. Temperatures hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit in this Siberian town, which that is insane. It's one thing to have global warming, meaning solar system warming, but this, like I said, I think we're contributing to it. We're not the sole reason, though. I don't believe that by a long shot. Now, we do have quite a bit of factories spewing out garbage. We do have, how much you guys seen like in these oceans where all the garbage is in? That's crazy how much is in there. So I think we're definitely crapping on this planet, so to speak, in different ways. And I think we are accelerating the warming, but we're not the sole reason. If the solar activities is going up into its, its 11-year cycle. So I don't think that's the reason. If every other planet is warming up, like was said earlier in the chat here, where it's like, yeah, well, clearly you're not going to be able to, our pollution isn't going to do anything to Mars, Uranus, or any of that sort. So clearly, it's the sun itself doing that part. But as far as here, I think we're accelerating a little bit, or at least different parts of it. But either way, that's not a good thing. Ricardo Bertrazzi, thank you very much for your support, as always, sir. Thank you. Said best wishes and Merry Christmas to everyone. Continue to support each other, even this fab channel. I appreciate it, Ricardo. And again, your support, you always support the channel anyway. Doesn't matter what kind of support, it's still support. So I appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, to me, I just go, let's stay away from the negativity. Do something you love to do. Like, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. The research, putting out the videos. And, just every day, get out and do things. Go, think of positive things to do. I don't care if it's out for a walk or taking a drive, going to do something positive. Just, that's the way I look at it. Just hanging out to, or being around negative people all the time and all that. Nah, it's not the answer. Definitely not. Oops. Carmine, you said, I don't believe anything that the UN says. The United Nations, we are not. Yeah, sadly, it's like there's a lot of people that are like on news channels. I don't know if it was what was his name. He just gave up on it. He says, this country isn't what it used to be. They're literally just letting it go, and that's sad because at some point, sadly, other countries will take this country over, and if we don't do something about it, I don't see it. I really don't. And it's not just going to stop here at the United States. It's going to keep going. If everybody has the same I don't give a crap attitude, I keep seeing these smash and grab videos. Is that happening in other countries too, or is it just here in the States? Where people are literally just breaking into stores, taking whatever they want. Or they just walk into a store or a pharmacy, just take what they want, and walk right out the store. As long as it's less than, $1,000 or $2,000, they can walk right out of the store. Nothing. Not being reprimanded, nothing, just walk right out. Have a great day. The G's Views says we get hot. Where are you at anyway? The G's Views. Oh, you said 50 degrees. Oh wow, in Australia already. Marble Bar. That's insane. I guess at least that's what it says anyway. That is pretty hot. Oops. Robert Morgan. No, the aliens are not just receiving I Love Lucy. It's long since turned into an unintelligible noise. Yeah, pretty much. Mad Pogue, you said cow farts and coal rolling diesels are dropping the bucket. Well, I mean, I would imagine because during the Industrial Revolution, when it was back in the 70s and 80s, where, and it's still ongoing, it was constantly spewing trash into the air and whatever through factories, vehicles, jets, trains, whatever. It's over a course of time, it has to have an effect on the atmosphere, right? Or on the poles or whatever, accelerating the ice melting and stuff like that. Again, we're not the sole reason for any kind of warming. That's through the sun itself. But like I said, if we're just contributing to it, it's not helping it, right? MJ420X, she said, did you see California is going to or has banned gas generators? Why is that? I don't think I've heard of that. Kyle Harvey said, negative thoughts bring negative results. Positive thinking brings positive feelings, and positive things will happen. Mars Lakes, UN is just a garbage pile of old socialists. Yep. Definitely needs to be turned around, I know that. Volt 71, he said, Chris, global warming equals solar system warming? Please explain. Well, that's exactly what it is. The sun goes through a solar cycle every 11 years, and as it ramps up, the sun gets hotter and hotter, which in turn heats up every planet in the solar system and moon and whatever else. So we're not alone in that. It's every planet in the solar system heats up. Now, like I said, we're not helping the matter, but we are contributing. So we're just accelerating that kind of thing going on. And like I said, I think what are we guys, about halfway, quarter of the way, halfway into the 11-year cycle. So as it ramps up, it just gets hotter. The sun gets hotter, and of course, again, all the planets get hotter, and there you go. Samantha Morris, what's going on? I didn't see you get in there. Did you just sneak in there? You're just talking to the G's Views. You said it got hot there as well. Carmine, you said volcanoes and methane released from earthquakes under the oceans contribute greatly to climate cycles. Note that I am using cycle instead of change. Right. Yep. The G's views could be the HARP using all of the weather BS stuffing around with weather. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're still using it, but it makes a great weapon, right? You can just, unleash nature on any country you want, depending on where you steer the array. You can just point this thing anywhere you want to, heat up the atmosphere, and just cause all kinds of, havoc on the weather over a certain country. And it's not just one. The HARP is everywhere. And it's funny because, like I said, how it started was nothing more than basically a radar to find oil in the United States. That's all that thing was. It was like 30 watts of power they're using. Now it's like, I forget what it is. It's something ungodly, like 30 million watts or some ungodly power that they're using now. So if you were to tune into a certain frequency, transmit at a certain part of the atmosphere, you can heat that atmosphere up big time and literally cause storms in a country. And you never have to lift a finger. You don't have to send over a missile. You don't have to do anything. Just control the weather, and you can pretty much, kill a bunch of people in a country, right? So, Pat Owen, you said, I'd say 100% of the clouds in Texas today were artificial. Long Island, New York says, I used to believe in chemtrails, but I'm more skeptical these days, but who knows? Well, I mean, you can always tell a chemtrail from a contrail, right? Contrail is nothing more than exhaust. It's hot exhaust going into the cold atmosphere of the sky, and it's turning to ice crystals, and that's what you see behind the jet engine. But you'll see them actually dissipate. They might be, well, let's say they're about a quarter to half a mile long after the actual jet. Well, you see it actually fade. It just fades away. That's a contrail. It's basically heated exhaust. But when you see these things going from one end of the sky to the other and they don't dissipate except expand, that's a chemtrail. And like I said, I was saying this to a friend of mine the other day. I said, how do we know you didn't put COVID into that? And all of this stuff comes down into the atmosphere, comes down into the ground, and everybody breathes it in. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm saying speculative, of course, but how do we know? They can do anything they want to. Slowly let it out, different countries, and next thing you know, everybody's got it. It spread so fast. First it was like, remember like the Omicron. It was African. There was like a few people had it. Suddenly, boom, the United States has got it like this. I mean, there ain't that many people traveling that fast and, overseas that like the whole country almost has it now. It's like, what's going on here? I think it's traveling a little bit more than just person to person, if you ask me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know they compound. Like, you got one person, you go into a room with 5, then them 5 get it, and then, of course, they spread it to 10 people each and so on, and that's how it rolls. But, damn. Lindbergh, he said, thanks for letting me part of the chat and not kicking me out. Well, we don't mind if people joke around a little bit and stuff like that, and if it's in good taste, we don't care. We like a good joke every now and then, as long as you're being, you're not being a total jerk about it or anything like that, and you're being cool, and you're asking, because you were asking cool questions earlier, and everybody respects that. We don't have a problem with that. We got a good bunch of people here, and if you just want to hang out here, and if you're sub to the channel, hang out here, and we don't have any problem. We like having you here. Long Island, New York, he said, I see the chemtrails all over, but I'm skeptical because I don't understand how civilian airliners with passengers on them can be able to spray chemtrails all day long being secret. Well, a lot of these, believe it or not, I've seen a video where they had the tanks in the back or the tail end of these planes, and they would let it out the back, the very end, so the people wouldn't even see it. Even if you're flying and you're right there at the wing, you wouldn't even see it exhausting this. You wouldn't even see it. It's in the tail end of the plane, so they don't even see the stuff. So, and it may just be an aircraft that's empty, and it's nothing more for the tanks, and they just fly and just do this crap to the sky, basically, right? Doug Parker said the CCP wants to control the weather in China fully in less than 20 years. With the extreme weather there this year, it looks like they have been messing around with it. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell if it's actually being done artificially or if it's just Mother Nature going retarded. Because it's that type of year, right? Whether you were cold and getting warmer now or vice versa, where we're getting into colder. But we even had, I mean, it's still 46 degrees Fahrenheit here. And this is at 6:43 Eastern PM time. So, you know, the funny thing about it is it's like, you know, we've had the last couple days was like 70s. What? In December? Something's wrong. Something's majorly wrong. It shouldn't be doing that. I know you guys have been saying the same thing. You've had like some crazy weather. It's been hot. Now, how many people out there, it's like cold in their neck of the woods, and it's a lot colder than expected or than usual? I'm just kind of curious about that. William Sky, you said, I've seen these come out, clear blue sky, and then disappear again. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, like I said, I think you're talking about the trails. It's one thing to see a jet come over, you know, you just finally see it with your own eye. You see it coming out, it's flying, and you see like a trail behind it, but you don't see it for like miles upon miles. You see it maybe a quarter or half a mile, you know, and you're talking about the size of the craft way up in the air. So I'm assuming somewhere about a quarter to half a mile. And you literally see it dissipate as it's flying along. That's a contrail. That's heated exhaust. But when you see it just stay there, and it's like this milky kind of thing, and it's spreading out and just spreads through the skies, we were looking up today, and I saw like a good 8 of them above our head, and they were stretching out, and it literally just keep watching it. It literally just turns the whole sky milky. Contrails don't do that. Pete Ferreira said 36 in Buffalo. But that's about the norm, though, isn't it, Pete? Like I said, we've had 70 degrees, man. It was just crazy. Then you said, cool, I feel better. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, we got good people here. And if you're, you know, willing to just join right in and ask questions, that's what we're here for. I mean, if I'm not answering, somebody else is. You know, we got, like I said, a good group here. Robert Morgan, you said, I can't vouch for it, but I've seen pictures of inside of chemtrails. But yeah, they had the giant tanks, and you can see these like spray time kind of valves. And they're just spraying this crap out the backside of these things. Ufology Shorts, it says, time to go to sleep. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Chris, and have a great day. You do the same thing. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for your support, Ufology. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Pat Owen says it's 80 degrees here in Texas today. That's pretty, well, that's pretty warm. Even for that neck of the woods. It gets cold there, too. I know that. Of course, probably not as cold as I do, but still, they get cold down there. Caused some freaky snowstorms. What happened was it last year, right? You guys had them bad storms? Power outage everywhere? Steve Garner says, I still get roses in my garden, Chris. Really? That's crazy. You taking off, Lindberger? He said good night. You taking off? Or you just saying to, what's his name? Healer. Elmer says, I'm dealing with 2 feet of snow coming tonight at 10, I guess it's supposed to be 10 p.m. Wow. I'm not sure where you're at, but that's pretty nasty. I know a lot of places, is it Minnesota or somewhere out there? It's supposed to be getting it pretty bad. I know some storms in the west are getting, but I'm not sure if you're here. The G's Views is 42 degrees Celsius in Alice Springs today, cooler than the other day. See, it's weird because we actually got cooler yesterday. It was warmer in the morning and then it dropped off. And it's supposed to be like 40s. I think it started at 49 in the morning and went to I think it dropped down to 46. It was breezy and everything else. And they're saying the dew point's like 42, so it's not going to drop into, you know, freezing temps, which is good. I don't know about you guys, but the worst thing I think was the frost. You come out, you're like, oh. It's one thing to jump in your car and say, okay, it's cold, I don't care. But when you're going to sit there and either let the car run and defrost itself or go out there and scrape it off, whatever you do, it's still an inconvenience, a pain in the rear end. But, you know, it is what it is. Unless, of course, you got a garage and you're good. Frax Centurion said 10:45 a.m. Saturday, and now it's 86 Fahrenheit. Oh, Jesus, that's hot. Well, you're in Arizona? Doug Parker is negative 35 Celsius last night here in this central Alberta. It was 42 last winter at this time. Yeah, so it's actually a little warmer where you're at, right? Or is it? Yeah. Negative 35. What does that do? I'm trying to remember what that is in Fahrenheit. I think it's just above 0. Robert Morgan, you said we had highs of 55, 60, 66 and lows of 28 to 32 in Southwest. Oh, okay, in Virginia. Okay. Yeah. Well, you should probably get the same weather I got then, because I'm over here in WV. And like I said, we had like 70-degree weather, and it was actually hit about 73, 74 here the other day. Lapis, he said, I guess they walk barefoot, the Martians. LOL. Mars League, he said, hate scraping the car at the morning. Yeah, it friggin' sucks. I have, Ricardo. Yeah. He said, there's a published technical info on the methods used to disperse chemtrails. Look up stratospheric aerosol injection. Yep. Yep. It's been a while since I've heard that terminology, but yeah. Long Island, New York, he said we need chemtrails maybe to cool the planet and reflect sunlight. Yeah, but is that going to kill the plant life too? Or make it shorter, you know, periods of sunlight and stuff like that for them? Samantha Morris, you were talking to Josh D. Who's taking off? Is it Josh or you, Samantha? You said if Chris has a live next week, I will pop in for a bit. Have a lovely Christmas. I don't know, man. You know, Max K, you said we having a hangout on Christmas Eve. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I know a lot of you folks want to spend time with your family, and you know I'm no different. So, you know, that's really up to you guys. I don't really care too much, because if we have it early, it's not too bad anyway, right? So, I don't know. We'll have to see, and of course I'll get you guys input and see what you guys want to do. Oh, Samantha's going on? Okay. Well, Samantha Morris, yeah, you have a good weekend there, right? Glad to have you in there as always. That is awesome. Pat Owen, you said, and what about the smart dust that is dropped in chemtrails as well? I don't know, I've never heard that terminology, smart dust, but I know people were talking about like this weird, like kind of like fibers under their skin. You guys heard about that? Where they can see it when they've been exposed to it. Because I haven't heard anything else about it lately, but you see these people picking it out of their skin and get like these fibers in their skin. Long Island, you said a little aluminum strontium. Never hurt nobody. Nah. What's a little cancer between friends, right? Steve Garnham, he said, Thursday is better, Chris. Claire Mead, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, hi, everyone. Very late joining tonight. Well, at least you're here. I don't know how much longer we'll be on, because it's been almost, what do you call it now anyway, 3 hours. But, yeah, it's good to have you in there, even if it's just to say hi, right? Lindbergh, you said, I have about a year or two worth of anomaly searching. That's awesome. You got your own channel, or are you just doing it on your own? Next case, said, temp dropping big time in Greenock, Scotland. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad right now here, but I don't know why. I'm just expecting to get our rare ends kicked come January, February, March. But on the other side of the token, I haven't seen 70 degrees in December since I've lived here. And if it was, it's like maybe one day fluke. kind of this fluky kind of thing. But I remember this week it was like, I think it was 2 days, it was up in just about 70, and then it was 74. So I was like, Jesus. Lapis, too much shampoo with nano protection? I don't know if I'd call it that. Probably get into your scalp and really mess with you. Frank Centurion said, Northern Hemisphere stay warm. Guys and gals in Southern Hemisphere stay cool. Yep. Lars Leakey said 3 hours is like 1 here. Well, I know, isn't it? It's like you don't even realize. You're just sitting there just gabbing it up, and next thing you're going, are you serious? you don't even realize it. The G's views, he said, wouldn't it be nice to go into 2022 with no talk of COVID, global warming, and all that other crap? I have a dream. I have a dream to have a dream. Yeah, it would be great. I mean, at some point, you got to, like, you know, it's good to talk about other things, too, that may interest other people. I know a lot of people would rather stick to either science or space or any of that sort, but sometimes it's good to, you know, because some people have other concerns or they just want to just talk about something else, and I don't mind doing that. I think it's we should like kind of broaden it anyway a little bit if people want to talk about certain things. I think we should. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't want to make 3 hours of COVID. That's just BS because I hate even talking about it. But because to me it's a negative kind of thing, right? Where everybody just feels like they're just getting a thumb on you. Ricardo says my house is toasty. 30s. A little dyslexic this evening. 73 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Let's see. Well, this is a little higher than, it's almost near the height of my head, but it says 76 degrees. Oh, but you said, but I'm learning from you. Well, I mean, which is cool, and that is cool if it is. But the thing is, if you're doing your own, that's awesome, because that's what it's all about. Because I think that, you know, people are going to believe their own eyes if they're doing their own work as well. I'm not saying you can't follow along with somebody else, but I've known a lot of people said, man, I was totally didn't believe you, and then I started doing the same things you do, and I'll be darned if that stuff isn't there. I'm like, okay, you know, and you know, it's awesome that people are actually taking the stuff and running with them, you know, taking off and running with it, because then they're finding out, going, oh, so this is true. You know, I didn't believe it at first either. When I first started out, like I said, I was watching other people doing these videos. I'm going, yeah, okay. And then, you know, like I said, I happened to notice somebody doing a video, and I said, why did they miss that? And what the heck is that? Wait a minute, hold on. And I'd pause it, and thankfully, they'd have a link. I'd get the link, and I'd go, let me just check this myself. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Let me get that Photoshop, install that. Let me just check this out myself. And slowly, I became more and more acclimated to the way they would manipulate things. Not like the moon is different from what you'd see on Mars. And they've changed theirs the last year or two, where they've changed their AI manipulation and censoring. And you can see a sharp contrast from the way they used to now. It's totally like weird. But if you look back at like Sol 173 from Curiosity rover, look at the way the ground and the rocks look there, and look at the trash you see today. Maybe in the foreground it's not so bad. You go to the background where they're trying to hide stuff, it's complete garbage. Absolutely nasty stuff. Claire Media said I should go back and catch up, Chris. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Len Berge said, I'm sure the stuff I found has already been found. Well, I mean, you just never know, right? Sometimes people find some crazy stuff. Even, like, I've seen other channels do, like, a photo that I've done, and they totally pull something out that I didn't. And that's fine, because, you know, I don't know it all. I don't see it all. But I'm more focused on the larger items, where some people focus on the smaller stuff. Sometimes I will, too, depending on how far it is in the background. And what I'll try to do is I'll do the same thing. I'll try to figure out, well, I shouldn't say figure out, but I try to bring out the stuff that's the biggest stuff, so you can it's easier to see, right? So that's what it's all about. Because I don't want something you go, you got to really squint, especially if you're on a phone or a tablet. It's like, it's even worse, right? Lindbergh said, me and my wife stayed up till 4:30 the other night playing pinball. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Thought it was still 8. See how fast the time just rips by, right? But then you wonder, why do I feel so tired? Fractionarian, yeah, you're talking to Max Gay. Anytime to not peel spuds is a good time. Max K said, it's up to you, Chris. You may need time with your family or excuse to get out and peeling the spuds. You decide. Yeah, exactly. Robert Morgan said, the only plus to warm temperatures is lower heating bills. You got that right. We all could use that. oh my God, talk about the irony, right, Ricardo? He said, I just read that 2 men have been in jail for buying a winning lottery ticket card worth $4 million. Of course, that's in, what do you call it? I think that's euros, I think. Using someone else's debit card. What? Hope it wasn't illegally, but it sounds like it. William Sky said, great to go out and for a walk, meet buddies, go for coffee, good talk, all different views. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, they haven't said anything yet, Ian. You said any more news on a Chinese cube, which I've done a video on. It's no cube. But they said they're supposed to be going to look at it closer again. Now, you watch. It's going to be a cluster of rocks. It's going to be something totally different. You know, solid swamp gas. They'll call it whatever the hell they want to call it. Just to say, oh, it was nothing all this time. Don't worry. And what I've seen in that photo, I've seen enough. That's definitely not... It's not rocks. It's not some weird cubey thing or whatever they want to call it. It's something much more, you know, bigger and more technical than that. The G's views, yeah, that's a good point. You said NASA photos are like a dumpster dive. Sometimes you just strike gold. Yeah. Mars Leaks said, you said, can you see Gale Crater with water, Chris? With small waterfalls and creeks, with statues and animals, gargoyles, humanoids? Imagine floating down this alien stream. Yeah, that would be pretty wild, wouldn't it? Yeah, I believe there's still water there, and of course they do say there is underground water. I believe the small lakes and everything's still now, but they're not going to tell you that. They want you to believe it's a dead, barren planet with nothing there. And this is the reason why just about every country is trying to get to Mars, to put an orbiter, or a lander, or a rover on it. Because there's nothing there to see. So, you know, spend them millions and millions of dollars and, you know, that you could use for your country. Well, spend it anyway, because, you know what? The dust is fantastic up on Mars. And the rocks are just awesome. You guys got to see that. Come on. Just makes you sick. And Jerry, you said earth-shattering for me was May 2020, finding little and tiny people on the 2015 Curiosity pic called, Google it, Crabzilla on Mars. See, I never fell for that. I've actually analyzed that photo myself. It's nothing like they put it. It's like they enhanced it to make it look like that, and they were just free with it. They were fine with it, rather. They were just like, okay, yeah. This looks good. Let's go ahead and sell this. Meaning, you know, for, what do you call it, for views. And when I did it, it looked nothing like that. Now, don't get me wrong, it didn't look natural, but it didn't look like no crab, or Martian crab, or Crabzilla, or whatever it was called. Yeah, I didn't fall for that crap. I looked at it, I said, what are these people, what are they seeing? Now, that doesn't mean there isn't other crazy stuff in there to see, right? There's a lot of other really interesting objects there. And I think whatever that is still is not natural, but what they claimed it was, yeah. Totally different from what I've seen. Jerry Lahane says, thumbs up, subscribe. Crack 200? Let's crack that 200, folks. Get it. If you haven't given the thumbs up, please do so. It helps out the algorithms, and it helps YouTube actually share this. Like is with all videos that we have, just thumbs them up. When you jump on there, thumbs them up, and leave yourself a nice comment down there. Even if it's to say awesome, whatever. Like I said, it's algorithms. It's, you know, YouTube sees this, it shares it more, so on and so forth. Like I said, folks, wait till you see. I got 4 videos lined up right now in Photoshop, ready to rock. Like I said, I've done them all. They're ready to go. So keep your eyes open this week. John Steve says, okay, I'm sorry, but I need some sleep, and I'll have to have a good, one, because hoping for a short hangout next Friday, 45 minutes will do, LOL. Yeah, I'll leave it on the community board, guys, if we're going to have one, even if it's short, or if you have to move it to Thursday, whatever. Or we just might say, oh, the heck with it, and everybody can just enjoy their families, just hang. But, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, even if we have to get in there and do a quickie, hey. But we'll go in there and just, you know, maybe we'll do that. We'll just see what happens, right? Robert Muggy, you destroyed it. Well, you'll never be able to use that button again. Robert says, I destroyed the like button. Kyle, he said, I will keep my eyes peeled for those videos. Oh, yeah. See, Jerry, I've never seen that. That's what's weird. You said the Crabzilla pit shows many tiny people. I guess, like I said, I've said this 100 times. It's like, my mind must not be wired for that. I never see people in these. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying I don't see them. Now, maybe a lot of people see them. I don't. And like I said, I see more mechanical, and I see like structures. I see mechanical. I see things like that. I don't really see people. Oh, okay. You said not a crab. Just a jumble of people leaving a cave. Oh, all right. See, like I said, I've never noticed that. Max K, you said, Chris, I think we're living in a very scary but exciting times, and we're going to get an insight into what's being hidden. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. IR Film says, cannot wait on the vids, Chris. A ciao for now, and stay safe out there. You do the same thing, IR Films. No doubt. And we're going to jump off this bad boy, too, so. Oh, look, I got some, what do you call it, too? Some updates to do. Oh, I love those. Let me see what it says. Your device needs to restart and install. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, now it'll try to, you know, mess with my stuff. They'll try to restart the computer by itself. But anyway, so we're going to jump on off this thing ourselves. And it's always a pleasure being here with you fine folks. Like I said, you'll hear something from me this week, and not only just the videos, but so just stay tuned for that. If you don't get a notification, just keep looking every Monday. I'm going to try to get them out before Christmas anyway, because it's something I just have them backed up in this on here, ready to go. So they're ready to rock. So just keep your eyes open for that. Like I said, if you don't get notifications, always check back. It's always best to do that. And if you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. It is awesome that you guys do. Let's break that 200, like was said earlier. And like I said, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and just be healthy, stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you'll find your life is a whole lot better. But I'm going to let you guys rock. What is it, 7:06? We're waiting until like 7:15 my time, so 15 past. And we'll let you guys converse a little bit, and then we're going to jump off of this. And but anyway, thanks for everybody being here. The support is astounding. It's just awesome. I love it. You guys are great. Again, all support is all good. You know, and if you want to support the channel, like I do have a link at the top, and it helps support the channel. And like I said, it keeps us running. Even like I said, when I had that power outage, I was still here with you guys. Power went out because, you know, like the support, I buy stuff that keeps the basically the bench running, so I stay live. And not to mention my internet is also on battery backup, so everything stays live. I can just sit there and chew the fat with you guys for like another additional hour if the power went out. So, and it's all because of what you guys do for the channel, and it helps me out too. So. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys rock and roll. Again, thank you for the huge support. You guys are awesome. Love you all. Have yourself a good weekend, a great night. Stay healthy. Again, stay away from negativity. You guys will be fine. We'll talk to you guys soon. Just keep your eyes up for the videos, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Every one of them, that is. And, of course, this chat. So anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Love you guys all, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.